you want this one?
Is everything set up for the recording, or?
You can have it.
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, Paul's in there. Paul Dingman's in there. We're good. Yeah, I told David.
She'll hit you harder anyway.
We were kind of chit-chatting last night, and then I heard a ruler snap, and I thought it was you, and I was like, yes, ma'am.
When she does this,
I know. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I feel like I'm not giving Christina a lot of room here. Oh, boy.
She doesn't need that mic. She's just gonna look at you. That's all.
I don't like your looks. She can say glasses on.
It's when they do this to you.
Thank you.
Oh, dang.
See that look too many times.
Yes.
I'll get it later.
Shit, we went to the Catholic school.
Yeah.
Beat you all the time.
Hold out your hand.
Oh, yeah. Big money.
Oh, man.
Yep, hold out your hand.
The one old, the principal, remember she was a little short lady? She had a paddle with holes in it, and she'd hang it right off her belt, man.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
You know what, the holes in there.
She had the holes in it, too.
Yeah, the aerodynamic. Better swing on that baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to call to order the budget workshop of Wednesday, April 19th, 2023 at 6:04. And can we have everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And can I get roll call, please?
Commissioner Bryson.
Here.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Here.
Commissioner Hillfrank.
Here.
Commissioner Clausen.
Here.
Commissioner Rourke.
Here.
Commissioner Ross.
Here.
Mayor Vandebosch.
Here.
Interim City Manager Heslop.
Okay. And now we're on to item 4, public comment. Anyone in attendance is welcome to address the City Commission. Please state your name, limit your comments to 5 minutes. This is a time for you to raise your issues, and the Commission will not respond, but issues will be followed up as necessary. All right.
There's nobody here
Nobody
for
here?
public comment, but I had a citizen reach out to me asking about bicycles for patrol.
They had them once.
We have them in our shed. I just don't have the personnel at this time to,
That likes using them, right? Got it.
yes.
Okay.
We've been trying in the past to put them into service like during festivals and such.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't had the personnel willing to, and I'm not gonna force somebody that is.
Sure, understood.
They've had-
They had read a study, I guess, that mentioned that, crime comes down because of, personal presence there. If somebody's sitting in a car, they can't be seen, anyway.
Several years ago, I actually approached somebody and wanted to see if somebody would donate monies for us to get one of those Segways. So we could go downtown, like.
Marine City Segway.
Go downtown and ride the Segway up and down and talk to people, parking enforcement, et cetera, just down there, but I wasn't able to find those like $8,000-9,000, so,
They're not cheap, yeah.
Don't you guys walk often or sometimes? Yeah, that's what I thought.
I did significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Jones. and
Yeah,
Paul
Jim
Kelly.
Jones
Yep.
frequently, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
That was the only thing.
Anybody else? Okay. Hearing, seeing none, we'll move on to item 5, approval of the agenda.
Make a
I-
motion, we approve the agenda for tonight?
Have a motion and a support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And now we're on to item 6, unfinished business, letter A, the 23-24 budget. Continue.
Okay, last night we made some changes that were recommended, and this is the report revealing what those changes were. The grant writing stipend is in there, $5,000, that wasn't budgeted. And then whenever you do that, then that affects also some of your benefits, which is your Social Security, your Medicare. Also, then there was the retiree health care. I mean, excuse me, not retiree health care. This is the pension, I'm sorry, the pension, the defined contribution. So those 4 accounts would affect that. And then it was asked about that $425 that was charged this year, and we looked it up, and actually the invoice does not detail anything what it is. So I looked back in prior years, and through MML, it's this manager's group renewal. The only thing that's really strange is that it's always been like between 130 to about 150. Each year it went up a little. Now it's 425. I just think, I can't imagine that it would go up that high. I did reach out to them. I tried calling, but they have no way of, unless you know the person you're calling,
Oh,
can't
annoying, yeah.
reach anybody. So I emailed them, and I didn't think I'd get back from them. So Jim and I talked, and we just said, well, let's just leave the 150 in there for now. It just seemed strange that it jumped that much. But
Yeah.
that was what it was for.
It was
They
indeed
know-
only MML,
Yes.
not ICMA.
No, ICMA, they haven't been doing the ICMA, so I guess, I mean, it hasn't been done for quite a few years when I was looking back through it. So, we
The
didn't.
one I can remember that was in it, I knew Nagy was in it, but I don't, and that was a condition of his contract, I believe.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
after that,
That's, yeah, because I don't even think John Gaber was a member.
Probably
or
not.
anything. So with that, the changes resulted in an additional $5,635. And the department total is what was first in the recommended column, then the changes, and then what the new budget amount would be with the changes. Next department was the city clerks. What I did here is I looked up what the insurance would be for the, hold on a second, I need to look at something because I didn't put the names of these, and I want to make sure I'm getting the right name when I'm telling you this. So I'm going to go into the budget. That's the health insurance premium, which is what I thought it was. And the total cost is $5,000, and it's split with the water and sewer fund. So if you were to look at page 2 on the bottom of the page, you'll see the breakdown there. How much is general fund is $1,500, and then the sewer general administration and water general administration is $1,750 each. And then on the city clerk, she is doing the buyout in her contract, and that's a $6,000 buyout. So again, if you look at the second page, it's 80% for general fund, which is $4,800, $600 and $600 for the water and sewer general administrative. Then when she gets a buyout, then there's the employer costs, which would be the Medicare and the Social Security, and that's what those other items are. So that resulted with the debt, with the credit and the addition of the other ones, $1,670 additional in there after adding that in there. So the new department total is $109,515. Then requested by the board was to increase the external audit fee to $50,000, which I've done here. So that was an additional $13,000. Under special projects, the next department, there was, per the DPW director's recommendation was that we could reduce that sidewalk incentive program down $2,500. So that would be a reduction of $2,500. So that brought the department total down to $74,735. Then after talking yesterday with Jennifer with the fire authority, we had a shortfall of $5,100 that we budgeted, so that increased it to $258,100. Okay, then this is where I wanted to talk a little bit more about on the general maintenance part. If you turn to the second page, you will see there was $200,000 budgeted there. $50,000 was for repair on the box, the hoist repair cost, the box replacement and subframe to the 2,000 sterling that he wants to replace. But he needs to get it back working so he can get through, because it's 2-year wait for that vehicle. After we had $50,000 budget there, but after Mike was talking to the vendor, he can get it down to $40,000. So what I did is we did the same split as we would have done on the purchase, and so it's down to 25% for the general fund, which is $10,000. So ultimately, what'll happen, I didn't give you the new count numbers and stuff, because there's no changes in the water and sewer fund or the street funds. It's just the count number changes, which I will do for the final budget. Because now you've moved this from capital outlay into your repairs and maintenance of the vehicles, vehicle repair and maintenance. And then the next item is the contribution. So what we were suggesting to do, since this is 2 years out, is move it into the capital improvement fund and restrict those funds strictly for the truck purchase, okay? So that then, but to help balance this, you know, because now with these changes that we made, we would have been in the deficit. Instead of transferring the portion that the general fund should be contributing towards this, which is $37,500, we're only transferring $3,700. So in the 24-25 budget year, we'd have to put a capital outlay purchase in there, you know, an additional $33,800. So what'll happen in the 24-25 is that the money can be moved out of capital improvement, brought back into general fund, and then you'll show it as a revenue. The expenditure will be the cost of $150,000. All of that will be covered other than the $33,800. Okay? So that's what that 995001 is. And then since we took it out of capital outlay, there's the $50,000 coming out of them. That was the general fund portion of that you know, of those two items in capital outlay. So
there's no need to pull it down 10 since you found out that the vendor would do it for 10 less?
Yeah, it might be less than that. When I told them, when I asked them today, because they couldn't give me the total amount it would cost, because just the box alone was $23,000. By the time you put your hoist on there, your subframe, he said that you can add about 10 to 15. So I brought it to 40, and it could be less than that once they do it.
Okay. I mean, this is just the budget. We're just
Correct.
Right.
reserving the money, but that could be good news
Yes.
for balancing other
Correct.
things.
Correct. If it comes in less, if you wanted to transfer more, you would just transfer more and do a budget amendment, you know? And then that way it'd be less in the 24-25 budget year when the actual truck comes in. Now, the only other thing is that a change could occur, and we just said we'd take it probably from the water and sewer fund because they're transferring it. If it requires a deposit for ordering that vehicle, then all you do is just, the money's still there. You would just
Right.
not transfer to capital improvement, and it would go towards the down payment of the vehicle in 24-25. Street lighting, Mike recommended that we increase it to $93,000, so that was an additional $7,500 there. And then under recreation park facilities, contractual, that was for those porta-johns, the additional porta-john that we wanted to have done, and that was at a cost of $1,200, so it increased it up to $8,400. And then I failed to put in the $26,000 for the work that's done at the parks using the recreation millage money, so that's shown right here. It was shown on the back of the page, but it wasn't shown in the account. Sorry about that.
No big.
Well, that's why we do this. It's to catch
Yep.
things like that.
So was it tallied in the total ledger then? Okay.
That's why it's shown here
Yeah.
now. We had the funds coming in there, but we didn't, you know, unrestrict them, but I failed to put that $26,000 in the expenditure line item. And then the sidewalk program was brought down to $10,000 for that. So if you look at that, the second page, you will show that there's a $21,305 change there, okay? So that leaves then with $29,925 deficit. That's the difference between revenue and expenditures. However, then you have your restricted funds of $40,000 that you add back in, that you're taking in, and then the sidewalk program comes out of that, which is $10,000. So we end up with a fund balance of $75.
Balancing budgets.
Yeah.
All right.
So do you have any questions on this at all? Nope. Okay, good. Well, then we ready to go on to the street funds?
Ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So what also, I know we talked last night about making, you know, approving the changes. I was talking to Jason, we'll just do it all today, you know, like you won't obviously see a printout after the changes, that we make tonight if we don't meet. I mean, I'm assuming tonight's the last night. So you at least have it for the general fund here, okay? You'll see it in the final budget when you get that for the public hearing. Okay, so we'll go behind tab 2, which is your major street fund. The revenue is $379,900. Your expenditures is $334,675, with an ending balance surplus of $45,225. Now, I know in the past when I was doing these, we really didn't go through it, each individual department and revenue, unless you have questions. I mean, we probably pretty much just said if we have questions. I don't know how you want me to proceed on this. It's up to you guys. I mean, do you want to do it that way if you have, or do you want me to go through each sheet?
I think just if we have questions, would be fine.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I got anything.
I think it would be good to go through each sheet,
Wanna go each?
but briefly, I mean, I think that that's
Okay.
plenty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I will explain to you is the street funds receive their funds from the state of Michigan through the gas and weight tax. Okay, so you'll see that there. The interfund transfer in is the $7,000 that's for the county road millage monies that's in the general fund gets transferred here for work being done in the street funds. Okay, so that's where that transfer comes in. That's the revenues, basically. Then, if you want to go to the next page, that's your general administration. Out of here, this would be, there were some errors done, and it was when the payroll, in the payroll program, when it was set up for their DPW bonus, or it wasn't a bonus, but it was that fuel
gas
thing.
that everybody got.
They charged this, so that's what that is. They were charged to the wrong account. So we're gonna, it doesn't really matter. I'm just making a note of it, that's why we're not budgeting anything for this year. That was for that bonus, and it shouldn't have been there. Because they were charging part-time wages to the full-time, and it's not supposed to be done that way. So, anyways, then this is where the part-time employees, any part-time employees are charged here for any of the street projected budget. Let me see, includes, that's where we charge any part-time employment there. And then you have your FICA, Medicare, your insurance opt-out, which would be your DPW portion of that. That's contribution, the defined contribution pension plan. You know how I was talking last night about Gabriel Roeder, I'm not Gabriel Roeder, that was our old actuary. Our actuarial study gave us a set amount, and then we divide it among the different funds. This is general funds allocation there. Then, if you'll see that. And then there's the health insurance premium actives. Again, that would be any portion that, again, when we do the DPW, how we spread it all along, this is the street funds portion. The interfund transfers out would be the amount that's transferred to the local street. And I know just before I left that we had changed it to 50%. So that's been consistently, so I just kept it. If we've been doing it every year, I didn't change it. So that gets transferred to a local street because most of our streets are in the local, and this gives money for us to do any type of repairs or maintenance or even like replacement of streets or something. It will build up the local street fund for that. Any questions? Okay, the next page is on your drains and your storm sewers. There's really nothing to mention here unless, it's just your normal maintenance of the drains and storm sewers. Routine maintenance is the next amount. Okay, this is where that truck was. So you'll see that it's under capital outlay. That will be moved. Part of it will be moved to other repairs and maintenance, And then the other portion will be to the transfer out for the new purchase, okay? So we'll be taking that and splitting it, putting it into different accounts, okay? It's not gonna change the bottom line, it's just gonna be transferred over.
Will we need
And-
to add that to the motion?
Not really. Because, I mean, if you want to, I mean, generally, we just say we're gonna approve the changes as discussed. You don't
Yeah.
list each one specifically.
Okay.
So I wouldn't think that you'd need to say that. This is also where that 7,000 that's coming in from the county road tax monies, this is where it's being used at, is in the routine maintenance, which is for your crack sealant program. Bridge maintenance, again, it's just based on normal activity there. I believe, Mike, was that because of the bridge inspection? Because I know we have to do the bridge inspection
What,
every
last
once.
year?
The 21-22, because it was
Yeah,
64-60.
that was the
Yeah, every
underwater-
so often we have to do the bridge
That's-
inspection.
That's due next year. The top deck inspection is due next year, then 2 years later, it's underwater.
Just for Laboon.
Yeah,
The other one's MDOT, right?
and everyone's MDOT.
They need to take care of that.
Okay, and then ice and snow control, it's the same thing. Again, the truck that was in DPW, that'll move out of capital outlay and it'll go to, I'll create an account there for repairs and then for the transfer out. So it'll be the same as what, the breakdown is what I've shown on this sheet here, on the change sheet that I gave you. Traffic service, again, it's just your normal expenditures there. Non-motorized, this would be your bike path, all your bike paths.
Bike paths and local sidewalks that city
Yep,
own,
yep.
or major
And-
sidewalks like downtown. That would be considered, like around all the parks and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be considered in this.
And, you know, the state requires us to do this, you have to do a certain percentage, and they keep track of that. And they'll adjust your, I think it's your gas and weight tax, don't they, if you're not spending the money that they're sending you towards that type
Yeah, it's
of
like
improvements?
25% or
Yeah.
something we have.
Over, I think, 10 years,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah,
We've been, we've hit that.
yeah. So,
For for traffic service, Mike, we've been in those discussions with the guy from,
This has nothing to do with that,
okay,
okay?
got
This
it.
is- This is traffic services for, the street lights,
Okay,
not street lights.
sorry.
But the stop lights and all that, King Road and Chartier, Lincoln Lake,
Got it. I'm sorry.
St. Clair County, maintenance fees,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Yeah, they just ruined that light down here.
What's that?
They claim they fixed the light down there, but
Oh, I know, and I'll get it.
it's a mess again.
I know.
It was working really good after we had all those power outages,
Yep.
working perfect, and then they came out and fixed it.
Yeah, they changed the books again too,
Yeah.
that's why.
Where in here would be parking lots? Like city-owned parking lots?
the city's
Yeah.
own parking lots, that would be in buildings and grounds in the
Yeah.
general fund.
Okay, so we already went over that? Okay. I was gonna say, because that parking lot next to the water plant, we gotta do something about that.
Well,
We-
that would be underwater plant then.
No, that's under, that would be under.
Parks.
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 Yes, that, we need to do something with that.
Yeah, somebody spent a lot of time making it look real pretty right there, and then
Well,
the parking lot just
the
looks
problem,
disgusting.
problem is, we're gonna spend $40,000 down there to do that parking lot. You're gonna be having 15 people in here screaming and stomping their
To
feet
do their road.
because the road ain't done.
When we get that $29 million grant,
40,000?
Yeah, let's hope.
Yes.
Any more questions on that, or the non-motorized? And then street cleaning is your street sweeper, so that's, again, and that if you notice, the equipment that that sweeper was paid off in the current fiscal year, so we no longer have that obligation anymore. Any questions on this major street fund?
no?
Okay, well then go to tab 3, and this is the local street fund. Your revenues are $313,600. Your expenditures are $199,050 with a surplus of $114,550. And see, the whole purpose of, for some of the new ones is that you may not do street projects for a while because you gotta build it up. And then once you build it up, then you do whatever you can do with it, and then you start from square one again, and then you gotta build it up. So your fund balance could be increasing over a couple of years or something, or however long it takes to get to that streets. That's the way it's always been, has been like that, you know. Unfortunately, because of the cost, and now the costs are getting so expensive, it's crazy.
Yes.
Okay, under the revenues, this would be your state and weight and gas tax, and then also that interfund transfer in, which you had two of them. One was for the county road millage of $7,000, and then that's that 50% that was coming from Major Street, that, from their gas and weight tax, that's being transferred over, and that was $186. So that's where the $193,000 comes from. Okay, and honestly, most of this stuff mirrors what's in the Major Street Fund. It's the same thing here on the general administrative.
So, have you thought about, or are you guys gonna have a meeting with the committee? I mean, I know you're hoping for we're all praying for that, but in the meantime, are we gonna still try to look at doing a road or two this year?
We have no more roads left
That you can
we
just,
do. I do have North Elizabeth ready. We changed all the services on North Elizabeth already. So, if you wanna pick on a road, you can cap and mill that one. I estimate that one to be about 250.
okay.
From Holland all the way to Broadway. Okay, so that would be the one that I could recommend we do. I really hate to pick on some more streets and pave these streets and then find out we get this grant and then we're just tearing up the new roads
Sure.
we put in.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
I would recommend if you want to do North Elizabeth, because that's gonna be probably on the lowest priority of our list. Because it does have a 6-inch down there right now.
Okay.
No problems.
North or south?
North.
Yep.
South Elizabeth needs,
Yeah.
but North Elizabeth, if you wanna do a street, that would be the street to do. And like I said, it's gonna be about 250 for cap and mill.
Okay.
You got some handicap ramps to do also, some curbs to do in that street.
When will you know on the big grant?
I believe we won't know nothing until October. Okay,
Okay.
I can check on that for you, but I believe it's October.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
was hoping it would be a little sooner.
I was hoping to, because I have a whole list of things ready to go.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, yeah.
You know, I do have a 5, 10, 20-year road project filled up already, which
Yeah.
I will share with you guys. So it's subject to move around, whatever. But, you know, the top priority streets are on there. Also, I made up a spreadsheet detailing all the streets that don't need to be paved and the streets with the 2-inch water mains that do need to be replaced. And then I tried to take the streets with the oldest water mains from 1936 on down and put them all in order. And that's subject to be moved around too.
So Mike, here's, excuse me, here's a question. Assuming we don't get that big grant, you know, the loan, and assuming we don't get that, worst case, would we be better served to pay mill and cap North Elizabeth? Or would we be better served to bank the money and do something that really needs it in a year or two?
Well, in my opinion, if you guys really want to do a street, do North Elizabeth, and that gives access to homeowners on William and Main, and, you know, to get out of there without bad road.
Yeah,
That would be my recommendation. As far as the other streets go, like Pearl Street, down the road, if you want to take and spend, I would say, $100,000 out of the water fund on Pearl Street, and take and move the houses off the old 4-inch, move them on the 12-inch that's there, add a couple hydrants, tie the 12 into the 4s on the side streets there, cap and mill that street. You know, so I mean, there's options out there. That's in my footnotes on what I came up with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah,
Whoever comes to my place, whatever, I'm gonna try to make sure that they know all this and see all my little notes and
Yeah.
everything I got planned for the next couple of years.
Very
As far as using, water sewer funds for roads and restricted funds, water, we used a lot of that from the projects we did. We're trying to build that money back up. And until that money gets back up, you know, we really can't do much.
Yeah.
And if we keep tapping the water fund for water and sewer fund for water main projects, we're gonna run into problems with nothing left in the bank to pay for projects. Like this problem I had at the sewer plant right now. We're looking at a lot of money when we get there, I'll talk to you about that. So you know, I'm a firm believer, said this before to you guys, but I would like to see about $300,000 left in everything. That way, if we do have an emergency, like on North Elizabeth, where we spent $100,000 to repair a sewer and a roadway,
yeah,
we have the money.
that sinkhole thing or whatever, yeah.
And I think people don't realize, I think they think, oh, you just gotta pave the road, they don't understand, we gotta do all the infrastructure
Right.
underneath, and that's where the
Right.
biggest
And some of
cost
the
is.
streets that people really want done, like Jefferson, from Main to.
Oh, yeah, that's,
From Main to Mary Street.
yeah,
That needs
it's-
a whole new storm sewer,
yeah,
plus the water main. So, you know, you're talking double the money. Woodworth, last time we had that estimated to do Woodworth, it was $1.1 million. Wow. Just Woodworth from Mary Street to M29. Because of the fact it needs storm, sanitary, and water. And then all the curb lines we've taken out, all the trees, sidewalks, everything so we're not talking $250,000 to do a street.
yeah.
We're talking, you know, now we're getting into $500,000, $600,000, $700,000.
Major
Is Westminster the same deal as Woodworth?
Yes, Westminster, same deal. We have that main was installed in 1939. It's 8-inch. It goes to my river knock we've had no problems with it. Knock on wood. I don't want to say that bad word that everybody says. But that's another one. The same thing, you know, we gotta replace that while we're doing that, storm sewers, catch basins. So you're looking at $1 million, $700 to $1 million just on that street alone too.
So for the local street fund, sorry, bear with me here. The question is how much do we have in there right now, not counting what we plan on putting in there with this current budget?
We can do the same thing as we did with the paving of last year on local streets. We can take percentage of the local road, say 100,000.
Yeah.
And take money from major roads, transfer it over to cover the rest.
Plus you have maybe some ARPA funds,
I'm sorry, what's that?
ARPA even,
You got ARPA funds too, but we gotta talk about that too.
yeah.
I mean, to supplement, I
Sorry.
think that would be fine.
Yeah, I know how it goes.
But yeah, so that's how we did the 5 streets we did last year. We used some of the local funds, didn't make it go broke, but we transferred over, I believe it was 193, something like that, from the major road to the local roads to pay for the project.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is if we do go through and do North Elizabeth using, you know, primarily local road funds.
Right, it would have to be local funds.
Yep, is that gonna draw down that account to where we're starting to get into an
No.
uncomfortable level?
No, because you'd be transferring money from your major roads into your local. So that would cover that, that would cover that.
I think we should add that in then, because it's not in here currently, correct?
No, it's not in there.
I mean, that's my opinion is, I mean, if you're comfortable with it and it's not gonna put us in a sticky spot for the local road funds.
It's not, as long as we take the money from the major
Yeah.
and put it over there.
Yeah,
The only thing is that, usually I like giving you guys a quote, put something together for you.
sure,
I don't have time.
there's, and
And
that you're talking, when you're gonna be doing this, what, next fall?
if you put this in the budget, we can start it in July.
And what you
True,
could do too.
in July, yeah.
Since he doesn't have the numbers, is, you know, you've put your request out there to do it. Just do a budget amendment.
Yeah,
To
Sure.
get it in there, you know, don't because he probably, I know I'm the same way. I don't like to just come off the top of my
Well,
head.
I
something.
know.
I want hard numbers.
I'm only going, giving this estimate of that much money because of the fact that we did those 5 streets last year. And those 5 streets probably equal the length of that street, and it was 228.
Yep.
And, we need handicap ramps put there, and we need, a little bit of curb work, and that's it. So, I figured about 250 would be good for a half a mil there.
And if it comes in a little less,
Like last year,
good for us,
we
yeah.
budgeted, I think, almost 300 for that last job, and we got it for
228.
228 or something.
Yeah,
like
it came in a
that.
lot better than I
Came in a
thought.
lot better.
They're nice. Those roads are nice too.
They are.
So the balance surplus is 114,550. Do you happen to know what's in it?
Well, unfortunately, if you bear with me, my computer just,
I gotcha.
I believe that right now, in the last time I looked at it, there's around 3 in there.
100K?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
That's
yes, we could do it. That's what's in there, and our balance surplus is 114, so yeah, like 4 something.
Right.
Yeah, that's reasonably healthy.
Just remember, years to come, keep money in these accounts.
I gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
If you don't, you're gonna be bonding out for stuff.
Something happens then,
Yeah, we have a major
Start.
blowout, and we've always worried about that,
Right.
yeah.
he's going to get an extension cord, so I can give you that information once he comes back in. And I was worried about that, and when my computer just went black, and I was like, "Geez."
I'm sorry, we're flapping our gums too much.
but no, I mean.
No, I just didn't
I think
charge
we
you.
should put a, $250,000 marker in for that in the budget, and then we need to adjust it, It's not
So
the end
you
of the
want
world.
the 250 in there now?
Well, last year, if you remember last year, we didn't put nothing into the budget. We just went ahead and did it. You guys did a budget amendment, and we went for it.
And that, we can do that
So
too.
why don't we do it that way?
That's
That
fine
way
by
me. Plus, you're not telegraphing your estimate to everyone.
Exactly,
Right,
exactly.
right.
That's, I would love to do a write-up for you guys, like I usually do, because I get pretty close, but everything else I got going on, I just don't have time. Try to get everything else buttoned up and.
Totally understood.
Just make sure, though, you do the budget amendment before you approve the project, or make it part of the same meeting.
Yes.
You do the budget amendment at the same time that you're approving the contract to do it. So we'll come back, and I'll give you the fund balance as soon as he gives me.
That's fine.
And I'm only gonna give it to you as of June 30th of
That's
2022.
fine.
I'm
I-
not gonna give it to you anything changed.
You just want
Too
three-
short?
A 3-prong?
Let's
No.
And he's
go
only got a
back.
2-prong.
Not
Oh, my
long
gosh,
enough.
it needs an adapter.
No,
Oh.
it's a 3-prong plug-in, and it's only a 2-prong.
Just cut the third one off. You need a pair of wire cutters, just cut the third one off.
Cut the ground off.
Just said, but I'm.
He's looking to see if he's got one in there.
They come out pretty easy, just bend it.
Oh, my gosh.
No, it does, definitely, yeah, if you push it real hard.
Here you go.
Need the free bomb on the other end. No. Oh. He's better than me.
Nice.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank
You
you.
want to plug and turn the camera back on?
All righty.
Do you need some rebooting time, or? you're all
Yeah,
set?
it won't take long, but yeah, it's gonna have to charge, it's already rebooting. But what we can do is we can finish going through local and then I'll pull it
Are
up.
we on routine maintenance?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Well, we didn't do drains or anything,
Oh,
but
hold on. Let's go back to brains then.
in drains, I mean, again, unless you have questions, it's just primarily the normal
Yeah.
budget type. So I'm just gonna move on. The routine maintenance, again, this is the same thing I mentioned in the major street. This is where the truck would come out of, the 12.5%. It wouldn't come out of capital outlay, though. It'll be the transfer and the vehicle maintenance. And this is where the crack sealant comes out, that 7,000 that's brought in from the county road millage. Crack sealant is budgeted there under that $9,000 figure there. There's only 7,000 though that's being used for crack sealing. Ice and snow control is, can you hold on just a second? I'm signing in here and then I'll be up and running.
At least you had a good winter this year.
Yeah, yeah. It still went through a lot of salt, because
Yeah.
a little
Well,
stuff.
ice, yeah.
Yeah, but we were lucky.
Okay, and this is the same thing, that's where 12.5% comes out of this for that Sterling truck, and that we're gonna put down as a transfer and repairs. Again, traffic service is the next item on here. Your non-motorized is the next department. And then you've got your interest expense that will no longer be here, or your equipment lease, because this is, again, it was split between major and local for that street sweeper that was paid off in the current fiscal year. So that's another, you know, so when you look at this, you are saving like 29,000 out of this fund, and the same with the major street fund. Okay, so let's look at what the fund balance is.
Has the street sweeper been okay from a maintenance perspective?
Oh, yes. Only thing I've been buying is gutter brooms and brooms.
The new brooms, yeah.
So I still put 1,000 in there for
Yeah.
equipment repairs, but, haven't touched
It
it.
does a good job.
It does a really good job.
I like
What's the
watching.
primary reason? Just to keep the drains clean?
Yes. We belong to, St. Clair County Storm, so I have to do a report to them on how many tons of leaves we take out.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
That's,
I have to clean catch basins, how much materials we take out of catch basins. Yeah, that's part of Eagle's, Clean Stormwater Act.
okay.
Okay, so the beginning, because you had a surplus in the 21, 22.
It was
it
roughly
brought it up to
114.
Huh?
114, I think, was the total.
Yeah, that's
Ish.
what it looks like here, because went from 462 to 602,000.
Okay,
And then you're
that's,
throwing another 14 in there again, so you'd have over $700,000. Local? Yeah, 114. Local right there. That's the fund balance. I'm just telling you, I'm reading off of what's off of here. Again, he's questioning me, and I'm saying I'm looking at it right
Two
here.
nights in a row.
haven't you learned your lesson?
I didn't say nothing. Did I ask her a question? No.
I
Better
mean,
watch it.
I have to go based on what is showing on here.
Anyway, that seems easy. Let's do Elizabeth, right? As a budget amendment, yes, but
We're good.
that's great.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
Any more discussion for local street fund? We're all good on that? Okay. So now we'll go to tab 4. Jim and I had asked Jim, I said, well, what kind of an increase should we consider for the water and sewer rates? And he said, well, put 2% in. So that's what we've done here. I used to have a calculation sheet that did not get kept up, so unfortunately,
Yeah, it's
I-
scary because last year, I think I looked, it was 2.75 and then we were short. So is this gonna cover it? I guess that's what I'm concerned about.
I think that last year we were short because the year before,
We didn't,
nothing.
well, there was an issue, it's because we got some money in and they used that money for the fund at that time. So
Yeah,
that's
but
why we
wasn't-
didn't need it.
wasn't enough- Yeah, but it wasn't enough to cover everything.
Yeah, so I'm just, and yeah, I always liked all those calculation sheets because when they were trying to do it last year,
I mean, this is what I did. I
Yeah.
mean, you can see there where I just did, I received the information from Michelle, and she just gave me, what we were billing, and I came up with an average. I mean, I don't know what to do. I mean, at this point, we had a whole it was a whole Excel sheet that it was plugged in throughout the year.
Yeah.
And then all you had to do was have it come over into the other sheets, and then it would give you a projection of what you would have, but that's not around anymore, so. And
Oh, yeah,
those,
here.
those calculations that were put in throughout the year. I asked Michelle if she did that anymore, and she said no, so.
Right.
So I did the best I could. I'm not even saying, again.
Sure. Do you think we would be better served to bump the 2% up to 3%? Assume, just plain devil's advocate, we don't get that big loan grant money. We got to do something to get that fund balance up more
I was gonna
to
recommend-
start fixing things.
I was gonna recommend when we get into the, water system maintenance water, that maybe we take a look at our ready to serve fees that we charge people right now. Bump that up a little bit.
So that's not based on
No.
usage, it's
Correct.
just a
a
set
strict
fee.
Yeah,
Even if you don't use a drop, you get charged it.
yes.
We've been trying to make changes now, because we already made the change that, whether you're home or not, you get charged a service fee. If the water's off or on, you still get charged a user's fee. Most
They
of
took
us-
away the leak break.
We took away the leak break.
Where if you had a leak, they used to give you an adjustment, they don't do that anymore.
One
But they do
thing that-
tell you you have a leak.
I don't know if we should talk
Yeah.
about
They
this.
tell you if you have a leak.
I don't know if we should talk about this now or whatever, but shut-offs. Okay, we're getting to a point where, there's gonna be like $50,000 this year rolled over in tax rolls. What I'd like to see happen, we put the shut-offs, we said no more shut-offs.
Yeah.
But maybe come up with a plan or something, give people 6 months to either try to make a payment, try to settle it up, whatever. If not, then we shut the water off. Because we can't lose this, we can't lose $50,000 a year, on tax rolls.
I thought we put a resolution in place for not doing it. We didn't.
Well, we decided not to do it during COVID, where we ordered to from the state of Michigan not to shut the water off. And we took it upon ourselves because at that point in time, it was costing me more money to shut water off than what we're collecting. So the first year, 2 years, it was working out perfect. People coming in, and I think there was only like 4,000 or 5,000 being rolled over on the tax bills. Now it's gonna be close to 50 this year. And we can't have that, because we're losing money.
Are these things that they could take advantage of that water program?
All depends on their income. Now people know we're not shutting water off, they're not paying their bill.
Okay. I mean, if we were to do an ordinance, I think, or some system, right, or process, that needs to be step one, is if you qualify, you should apply for this, right?
And I think Michelle's done a very good job of getting that out there to people.
Is that through DHS? Is that what you're talking
I
about, or
think
is it
it's a state
different?
of Michigan one.
Yeah, that's DHS.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
Department of
there's another one too, we
Services.
just, there's another one we just became
Yeah,
part
there's a
of.
different one,
We just initiated it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Michelle does very good at getting that out there to these people. But these other people that's not paying, we hate to say this, but they know we're not shutting water off now, so
Right.
they're not paying their bill, just letting it go over to their tax rolls.
I mean, is it the same people? Or are we a lot more people?
I can't tell you.
Just
Same
from-
people now.
One
Past?
bill is $14,000.
Yes.
And just
Well, that's-
for
yeah.
past experience, yes, it is. I mean, I used to
Yeah.
You're saying it is just certain people, same people? Yeah.
Most of the time, it's the same people when we shut
Yeah.
water off.
Yeah.
And then that was because of COVID, you guys stopped shutting stuff
Yeah, we
off?
were ordered by the state of Michigan to stop.
And then you just never picked it up again?
We never picked it up because we were shutting water off for $55. And say the whole shut-off day, we collected $300. I just spent $500 trying to get the $300. Because, sending 2 guys out, digging the shut-off off or whatever.
Yes, okay.
So that was making no sense to me to pay for losing money, shutting people off to collect money.
Right.
We talked about this, and that's what we decided to come up with.
But this is a different ball of wax with this much being.
Last year, I should say, last year, people were really compliant and paying. This year, for some reason, don't know what's going on.
Well, if one person's 14,000, what's the second half?
That's
All
14.
Right.
Those federal incentives that everybody was getting is not coming in anymore. That's probably why.
I mean,
They're
if
not
it's
getting enough
businesses,
I
better
mean, that's
Yeah.
something that the
Shut that
commission
up.
level, I just want to make you aware of, that maybe, think about it. And,
Families.
I'll talk to Jim and Scott about that also.
We've never had that high,
No.
ever.
We got to go back and look at the, because I know, like I said, we put something in place, so we'll have to pull that back out. And if we have to
right.
work on that, because we've got something in place, we just,
When was it, Lisa? I'll look for it.
That was back in 2019 when COVID hit.
So if we,
Is there a way, like, we can, like, I know if we go after certain arrests, we can go after like a cost recovery for them to pay our fees, et cetera. Is there a
Well,
way?
we shut your water off, there's a $50 fee, and then when we turn you back on, there's a fee.
But is there anything out there though that will allow us to go after the homeowner, throw in a tax roll, your guys' hourly wage or something?
No,
Okay.
no.
so if we do start shutting water off again, we have to equally enforce, correct?
What's that?
We have to equally enforce it? Like, you
Yeah.
can't just go after the guys
I
that,
shut my own brothers off, so I don't care who you
well,
are.
I guess what I'm saying is, that should there be a threshold? Because you're saying you don't want to shut water off if it's going to cost us more to shut it off than not. So should there be like a threshold to where we're shutting off if it reaches
There
this
should be
level?
well, that threshold, that's why I'm saying 6 months.
Okay.
Okay, say
Yeah.
6 months, give people. We send them a letter, say, hey, every month you send them a letter, you're getting close. This date, your water's gonna be shut off if you don't make attempt to pay or arrange payments.
And then as we're shutting off, are we going for the top owers first down, or how would that work?
Whoever's on the list is shut off,
Yeah,
So just,
shut them off.
go right down the list.
and it's done by sections,
Yeah.
too, we have
And
3
this
sections.
this isn't just one section, this is all over town now.
And you just mentioned you talking about making payment arrangements, so people can
Yes,
call,
people can
make,
call,
make payment arrangements. These are just
all
people that are
day
just
long.
ignoring it completely,
Yes.
not even trying
They
it.
get letters sent to them,
Okay.
and they get, in their bills, they get letters sent to them and everything else. And they get the information that, hey, you can go here. It's on the webpage, it's every place that there's help out there for you. But,
Okay.
How does Marysville figure theirs? They don't have any water meters.
they don't have any water meters.
Everybody pays the same price.
Everybody,
They average everybody together and
Marysville, every 6 months, everybody gets a bill for $600 for the water and sewer. That's my understanding. All their businesses are still metered. So they read all their businesses. That's how they do their meter program. And that's something that, unfortunately, I just talked to Scott today about this, so I was going to mention to Scott, about looking into this. Because the price of meters now for us and for people are getting stupid.
residential has no meters.
Right,
It's one flat price.
right,
in Marysville.
in Marysville. But the cost, I probably put in 80 hours a month, 90 hours a month, fixing meters, reading meters, final reads, all that stuff. So down the road, looking into maybe doing a flat fee might be a good idea. But then you're gonna have people mad because
The people that don't
You're
use a
setting
lot,
up-
I don't use a lot. I mean, I've
Right.
been a miser because I came from a farm where we didn't have water.
and you're gonna get a $600
Yeah.
bill every 6 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Where your bill was $600 every 3 months, and now you
Yeah.
get the deal on it.
I
Yeah,
don't have a pool.
But I'm just using an example.
but that's different. Pools are different.
But that's what you're gonna run into the
Correct.
opposition from. You're gonna
Yeah.
have people that, my
Try to
bill-
conserve,
Right.
and other people that don't.
And you won't know if there's a leak though. So
Yes.
That's another thing too, that could put a, cause we run 12 hours off our tower. Okay, so my alarm's set for 23 feet. So if we go non-metered and somebody just leaves their faucet on and we got 10 people just running water for some reason,
Like in the winter or
like in
something.
the winter or something, my tower's gonna come down. And then we're gonna have to spend more time making water, filling the tower back up. And that's gonna cost us overtime
Yeah.
in chemicals and process. So it's a,
Do we have the issue like we had with Cotterville there? I know that was a private line, but do we have that all squared away so we don't?
yes, that was a twofold. That was
Yeah.
good on our part. I'll tell you what happened with ours. We had new SCADA program put in. We were supposed to replace the PLC next year. My PLC crashed We were flying blind. We didn't know how much water was going to the tower, nothing. So we had PLC replaced just recently.
Remember doing that?
So when they replaced it, the PLC went back to emails instead of texting. So what happened that night was that the tower got down to 22 feet. Everybody was getting emails.
But you didn't know it.
Hey, I'm not looking at my phone at 2
No.
o'clock in the morning for freaking emails. All right, so, but, you know, the good thing of it is that we got down to 11 PSI. Water plant starts up at 3 o'clock, and I believe, Jim, what time I call you, 3:15?
It's quarter to 3.
We already found the leak, water plant got there, by 3:30, everybody was back up to pressure. We did the boil water just as precautionary, because we went underneath the 20 pounds pressure. Since that point, we've had curb pump back in, I had dike security back in, and when that water tower goes to 23 feet, there's alarms going off all over. So, I mean, we are protected again.
Yep, yep.
So it was just a twofold, and actually, it's
Blessing in disguise.
yes,
Yeah.
blessing in
Yeah,
disguise,
yeah.
because something major could have happened.
Mhm.
You know,
And you
at 11
wouldn't have
o'clock at
known.
night, and
Yep.
we wouldn't know about it till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Unless Deacon calls me at 2:45, tells me he got no water, I tell him to turn his faucet on.
Yeah, yeah.
So how come it went so far? Because it was on the far end, the south end of Cotterville, right?
Right.
At the trailer park. And on the north end, they were getting brown water.
We drained our system.
Yeah.
We took our tower down to 98 feet. We weren't even in our bowl. So the pressure up there couldn't push down enough, so it was drawn every place else to get to the leak. And once we got the pressure back up, filled everything back up. And everybody did have air and brown water for a little bit, but, you know,
For a while.
well, yeah, quite a while. Some people quite a while, some people,
I'm on the north
5
side, I didn't
minutes.
have any.
I didn't have any either. You did.
I literally turned on my sink and it was like spurting air, and I'm up by you.
Yeah.
Spurting air, and then I was like, that's kind of weird, and then my phone buzzes and gives me the winds message that boil water. It's like, no way.
and I gotta tell you something too. The system that we set in place for this type of thing, this is the first time I ever used it. It worked well.
Very well.
That winds.
It worked very well. By the time we got this thing, we had everything out there by 5 o'clock in the morning. And it was very good. And I'm telling you that, I had more phone calls from Shangri-La Trailer Park
Yes,
than the people in Marine City.
yeah.
I'm not kidding. My phone rang.
Well, it was because some people called the township. Township said it wasn't ours, it was a private line, and
Yes.
so they didn't know who the heck to call.
Right, where everybody was blaming us.
Yeah.
Saying that was our leak, and, you know,
Yep.
even Eagle called me and said, when are you gonna fix your leak?
Not our leak.
You know,
Yeah.
that's why I tried to tell them, it's in Cottonwood Township, but don't you feed them water? Yes, but it's not our leak, it's on private property.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was another ordeal with Eagle.
So when we had that leak, there's a bypass by Kmart there.
That-
It was out the,
We had no water to turn it on, Bill. It was, the tower was,
I mean, you'd be shutting all of Cotterville south
it was
off.
too late for that. You know,
And
by the time we found it, actually Nick found it, is I went in Tagalong or Shangri-La Trailer Park and I did my rounds all the way to the back, come back up. I was heading down for Nautical Lane, which was my next place I always look. Nick was already there, from Cotterville. He found it in the ditch by the clubhouse, 6-inch line blowing water this far, halfway across the ditch. I mean, we had no time. Once we got that water shut off at the trailer park, we gained pressure. So there was no time to shut off water to Cotterville, nothing. The concern was to find the leak, get that resolved, and get the water system back up.
What I'd like to see is that every dead end line that we have in town have a hydrant at the end.
They do.
Not at the end of mine, you told me, You told me to turn my water on, leave it running, you take it off the bill when I get brown water.
There's a hydrant next to the house there.
Where?
Isn't it by the Edison plant?
That's in China.
East China.
Okay, because I know they flush their hydrants and we flush ours. So I'll check into that for you.
Because I'm still getting dirty water.
Okay.
And I don't believe in dead-end lines, that's why I said. And I think you said we have 6. You told me one.
We have, well, where you built your house at, yes, that's the tie-in for Mary Street. That's our tie-in for, East China.
That's a
Backup.
bypass, but it's shut off.
Yes,
Yeah.
shut off.
So there's no way to bleed it without a fire hydrant there.
I'll look into that one for you.
One thing on this rate increase, though, too, I remember last year, F&V had a 4% increase. Do we expect a big increase for them?
I put that in there already.
Okay, so it's already.
They go by the index,
Yeah,
and I think the index this year, don't quote me on this, was only like 3.5%. So that's what they go by,
okay,
and I already put that in there,
all right,
in the water and sewer.
okay.
So how long has it been since we had a, like, engineered rate calculation done?
Since our SAW grant with her 2019,
No, I was here before that, so it was before that, because we had that SAW grant before.
right, but wasn't 2019 the end of our SAW grant that was done?
I can't remember, Mike.
Yeah,
And just
2018, 2019.
MML
That's-
training, they recommended, every few years, because they'll take the entire infrastructure.
Yep.
Itemize what needs to be replaced first, and that's supposed to be, like you said,
Well-
what determines
But
rates.
we had to get a grant for that, because we can afford it.
Right, well, the rate study, you just have to pay somebody to do one, but it's gonna be quite expensive. I do believe the last rate study we had with, Tetra Tech, when they did that, quote me if I'm wrong, but didn't they say that we had to raise our rates
Oh, it
like
was outrageous. I don't
7 or
remember.
10%? They want us to raise our.
It was
rates.
ridiculous, and I mean, nobody, can afford that. I mean,
No.
the bills
Sure.
are kind of high now compared to other communities.
Yeah.
What is that?
I was gonna say, what that speaks to is the amount of infrastructure we have and
Correct.
what's
It
in
has
need
to
of
be
replacing.
That was on the sanitary side.
And you have to understand, we're not the only, it's throughout the
We're
whole
not.
state of
Sure.
Michigan. Everybody is in the same situation as we are.
Yeah.
Everybody's infrastructures. Every day you turn, it's just not water and sewer. You turn on the TV and there's another train derailment. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. It's awful.
Is our plant utilization still at 30%? Or is
What's
it the plant utilization, the water plant,
It's between 40 and 50.
between 40 and 50?
Yeah.
That's good, it's up.
And then some magic number at 60, some magic happens if we're at 60, I don't, just looking at Cotterville's page, says, it's 30% utilized, if they get to 60%, then maybe we can.
I don't know what Cotterville puts on their Facebook.
So there's nothing to do with
There's
60%
no-
utilization to
no.
make everybody's bills a little bit better or not going up more? Okay.
Cotterville's got on their DPW
Yeah.
page that, call Marine City because it's our fault that their rates are so high.
Yeah, if you click on the water department for Cotterville, there's just a note right on the front page, like
Yeah.
basically saying, yeah, we know the water rates are high, it's not our fault, blame Marine City.
Yes.
Essentially.
Which,
It's-
which it isn't our fault either, because they've got a mess out there. They've got a lot of lines they gotta replace now. They're not that old. They're blowing out because the stuff was bad. And now I hear they gotta replace all that stuff. A lot of this isn't just on us. It's,
Well, also Cotterville, we sell Cotterville for the same amount of money per thousand as we do you guys.
Right.
They put a commodity charge on that. What it is, I don't know.
Which they should if they have to replace their own lines, right?
But
They
that's
need to
why
pay
the
for
rates
that.
down there are high. It's not because of
Exactly.
us.
yeah.
The final thing I wanted to ask is, do we pay Cotterville something for like sending out bills?
All depends.
Okay,
All depends on Kmart Plaza. They use a REU system. We actually, we're talking about this today, Jim. We actually annexed the Kmart Plaza, part of it.
oh,
So we actually pay them a little bit of the water and sewer for that area.
okay. Because on our packets, there was a
Yep.
$2,300
Yep, yep.
quarterly payment to Cottrellville.
That's
Yeah.
for the sewer.
Yeah.
That's for sewer and it's for Kmart Plaza specifically?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, came up Plaza, Big Boys, you know, in, I think Riverside Wash down there. And it ends at Dr. Gilbert's. So
Yes.
from Dr. Gilbert's.
Well, those houses used to be in there too.
Nope,
They're not anymore?
No.
Because they used to be.
yep, I took them out.
Yeah, there was an agreement on that when that was
Right.
annexed, that the sewer rates and stuff would go to Cotterville.
Right,
And
because
water
they
rates
charge
go to
us
the city.
REU on every meter.
Okay,
And that's what we pay them for.
Yep.
got it.
All right, let's get through
Thank
this one.
Okay, so what do we want to do about the rates? Because I know someone mentioned increase it to 3%. Do we want to do that, or you want to think about it and at the end of the meeting decide?
I mean, I think, you know, if you're recommending we bump up the ready-to-serve fee instead, I mean, as long as we're doing something, you know, what do you think is gonna be
Well-
best?
So you're going to do this and the ready to serve?
That's what I was kind of thinking.
2.5 or 3 and a little bit on the ready to serve?
What were you gonna bring up the ready
Yeah.
to serve fee to, Mike?
I don't know. I did know I was gonna kind of leave that up to the people up there. So I'm not the bad person.
Although, we were the ones that,
Retiring,
remember,
yeah.
started
Come
it
on,
all,
be the
him and
bad guy
I.
One last time.
Yeah,
What's that?
started those ready to
This
serve
is my
fees.
last budget, you know that, right?
I do.
Lay it out there.
Well, here's a question, just so we have a number in the back of our head, if we take it from 2 to 3, how much extra revenue roughly would that
All
bring in?
depends on the water usage.
Just,
But usually if you increase, then everybody decreases.
a little, well,
I
there is a
think-
floor where you can't
I
decrease
think
anymore,
we're at
but,
that point where decreases.
I know, it's
gotta
hard.
be pretty close to being stopped.
Yeah.
I really do. I can't tell you, what's the average water bill? Well, what's in here?
Well, I said,
What do you got in there?
well, I just said based on 24,000 gallons, this is what the current rates are, what it would increase, so it would go up $6.48 quarterly. So you're figuring like $26 a year is what, if we did a 2%,
So 3% on 26 would be what, around 28?
half of that. No, it'd be half of 26, so 13, so maybe 39, wouldn't you think? Because if it's
Yeah, yeah.
at 2%, yeah, it'd be half of that, so,
So it'd go up 39 cents,
well,
No.
$39.
$39 a quarter,
Yeah, no, a year,
a year.
Per household.
yeah.
Do we know the average water bill?
So we're talking roughly $3 a month then.
Yep.
Then if you add the
Yeah.
ready-to-serve fees, then that's a little bit more than that then.
I would recommend, if you really want it in the future, to get some sewer projects and water main projects done, maybe raise the ready-to-serve fee $1 a piece in each one. That's what I would recommend, because right now, I believe we bring in like 95 a year, just on the water part.
And it's based on the size of the meter.
Right, it's based on the size of the meter. And I do believe.
We pay for sewer at I went into water billing. It pays a 5/8 inch meter, which is residential, is generally, most of them is 1620. I'm just looking for water right now. And the water is 1080 is what they pay right now for residential.
You know, we can, raise those two up $1 a piece, or if you want to, try to do a mill. Try to go to the people and ask for money.
That's not gonna
And it's, I
that's not gonna happen
No, that's what I just
anytime
said
soon.
to
know,
No.
I mean,
but, we're at a point right now where, I'll just talk about now. Our water plant and sewer plant is gonna start needing some money put into it. We've been kicking the can down the road on these plants. And for a couple of years now, we've been putting money into the budget for the water and sewer, and it always got kicked out. We can't do this anymore. We got a $460,000 problem down there right now. We gotta figure out how to pay for it. This is what's gonna happen. if we keep kicking this can. Future people are, we're not gonna have nothing, and Eagle's gonna come in, take over, and make us go to East China, which I've been fighting for the last 5 years. And I'll continue fighting until I leave here with them. The mandates they're putting on us at the water plant, we're gonna be spending some money up there for the next couple of years. Sewer plant, same thing, sewer plant needs a lot of work done to it.
What about bumping this rate up instead of a 2% to like a 2.5% increase plus the $1 on the ready-to-serve fees?
I would feel good with that,
I mean, we
Three?
have,
2.5.
2.5.
I mean, we do have a lot of people that are struggling. I don't
I
want
agree-
to stick
I
it to
agree
them.
But they have the
100%.
program, right? I mean,
They
again,
have,
but-
they have the program, yes. You know, I feel terrible sitting here doing this because, but it's time.
You got to fix it,
It's
else
time.
Well,
nothing's going to come out.
It's the type of fund, too, we can't run a deficit in it. We
Right.
have to-
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, we have money in the water sewer fund, but, you know, if I have a blowout in one of my tanks uptown, for example, you're looking at $1 million, right there.
Yeah,
You
keep
know,
doing that.
So that, you know, that's why I'm a firm believer, I've been saying this for years, that we have to keep a reserve for,
All right.
What are the cons of tying into East China? Like, what's the big fight there?
Eagle wants us to shut down our plant, go to East China.
Right. I mean, is that it? Just from a job standpoint? I mean, what else is
It's
bad
not a
about that?
job standpoint, it's redundancy. Right now, what happens if there's a chemical spill in Sarnia, China Township shuts down. We feed them water. When it gets to us, they open up and feed us water. St. Clair Fire happened up there at the power plant. East China Township was losing pressure. We called guys in, opened their valves, fed them water while they fought the fire. We
What-
go to East China, they have a major fire, we're out of water. They have a water main break, we're out of water. We shut down for a chemical spill, we're out of water. So you want redundancy?
I mean, for a chemical spill, I think we'd both be shut down, right?
No,
No?
no. And the other
The
thing
current-
is,
you have 6 hours from East China to here.
Wow. 6 hours for water from there to,
Yes, because of the way the current flows and everything else.
that is weird.
the other thing is that typically water plants are considered soft targets for terrorism. You lose one, at least you have a second to provide both communities in a limited capacity.
You want redundancy. If we have a big fire here in Marine City and a big fire up in East China, you're done. That, whatever you put out is done. They don't have the water to put it out with.
Like when I think when we did the road, we tapped into East China. When we did the sewer and water replacement on South Main.
South Main, we're tied in there
we-
with the 12-inch.
Right. I thought that we did some sharing a bit for that to give everybody
Yes, we
water.
did.
And then when the fire happened at the Edison plant,
Yes, we opened the
same,
pipe.
we opened that up so that everybody would still have
We
water. So
opened the
anyway,
12 We opened the 12-inch bypass on Bell River Road, because there are towers right there. We were able to go directly to their tower.
You did that, too, when you were working on our tower.
Yes, did the
Mhm.
same thing. We're
Yep.
working in their tower. We got water from them for a few days until we figured out what was going on.
ours is by King Road Park. Theirs is on Springborn? Springborn.
Yeah, yep. So my biggest thing is you want redundancy.
Yep.
You don't want to be off on your own with no system. Think of it this way. Great Lakes, Eagle made all these people out here go on a Great Lakes system, abandon their wells and everything else. Great Lakes went down, 700,000 people didn't have water.
Wow.
So think of it that way, because there's no redundancy. There's nothing.
And they want it because they have fewer places to check.
Exactly,
So then they get all these things off their rolls and it makes their job easier.
exactly.
Even Wade Trim, wasn't it Wade Trim who did the
Yes.
report on all that? Yeah,
He did.
they were even like, yeah, the redundancy's good,
You
honestly.
want the
but-
redundancy, you know, until the day they force you or whatever, but you want redundancy. You can't take the chance that something happens and we're gonna be out of water without for days.
And not to mention, they'd probably bump our rates way the heck up.
Oh, yeah, you did, oh, yeah, cause
So-
you have to put master meters in,
Right.
and then they're gonna charge us a commodity charge on top of us. So, you know, so our rates would actually go up. And then, not to mention, we might, you know, spend, we have to buy into the water authority up there, which would be a couple $100,000, I would imagine. And any expansions they do on the plant we'd have to help pay for. You would have to put pumping stations in for the south end of town to get pressure down there, keep pressure down there. You might have to put another elevator tank at King Road Park. So, that's,
So if I throw a ping pong ball in the water by the East China plant, I'm confused. Take 6 hours to get down here? I don't know what,
Mike,
I'm just
it's not,
saying.
there's contours in.
I agree with all the other points, but that's,
There's contours in the river. Like us, if there's a chemical spill, when it comes by the beach, it actually shoots over the Fawn Island.
wow.
I mean.
I gotta look at those maps. That's crazy. Yeah, that's
there's-
kinda cool,
there's-
actually.
Yeah, if you look on the US Coast Guard contour
Yeah,
maps,
okay.
it'll show you.
And
And
the other,
we actually have timelines, at the water plant from if something happens at the Sarnia plant, how long it takes to get to Marysville, St. Clair, Marin City.
Yeah, I gotta look at that. That's crazy.
then also,
Interesting.
keep in mind, you're pulling from underneath, not the surface
Yes.
water. So it's
It's different,
very different.
yes.
If it's an oil, it's gonna float on the top, you know, you'd have to
Yeah.
have something heavier than water anyway.
So you have any more doomsday?
No.
What we just discussed.
Sorry,
Did our water mitigation plans for,
we got new
Okay.
people up here, I'm just trying to make everybody aware of what's
Thank you.
going on.
Thank you.
Good information.
no, it's very good information.
From what we just discussed, though, do we wanna bump it to 2.5?
Gosh,
Do the 2.5 and 1 and 1.
did I scare all the kids at home?
It's the next group that would do, ready to serve, but yeah.
So what do we, like quarterly, we're talking, how many dollars versus the ready to serve? Did we figure that out or no? We don't.
I'd have to calculate
What'd you say, it was $39 a year?
That'd be at 3%.
At 3,
Yeah.
So
Oh, that was at 3, so this is even less. than
$39 a year,
if you're
so.
doing less than that, it'd be about 33,
If you're
35.
doing a 2.5, yes.
So, a year, so divide that by 4.
I mean, are we still thinking either or? Are we just doing both?
2.5, and then a
So we are doing
dollar
both.
on the ready-to-serve fees. There's two of them,
Okay.
water and sewer.
And you think that would cover what we need to cover and help us prepare for these other
Yes.
things that are coming?
Yeah,
Well, it
With
would
the
help
repairs and
anyway.
I
things,
really
help
do.
us prepare for that.
Help us prepare, this would give us extra funds for water plant, sewer plant, and major, and some infrastructure.
We're still doing the water monitoring thing too, aren't we?
Yes, we're still doing water
There's
monitoring.
fees on there too, yeah.
That fee's on there too, but that's, you know, that's up the water plant, that pays for a lot of repairs up the water plant too.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you have to think about it. Before we sat down together and started these fees, we had nothing. I mean, it has come a long ways.
Yeah, it was a few years back, they forced us, because we had to start putting money away for
Yeah.
fixing it. I remember
Yeah,
that.
it's- I went to have to go to the meeting with the SAW grant.
Yeah.
And he goes sitting there saying, you got your money ready? And
Yep,
what
yep.
money? What are you talking about? We ain't putting no money away.
Yeah.
But we were a lot better than a
Yeah.
lot of communities
Yes.
because we started this. A
Yep.
lot of them still are not doing it, so. I
Yeah.
What,
mean,
what are the ready to serve now?
The,
They're on the other page here.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
next
Well,
section,
one was-
let's,
asking-
16, one was 10.
are you talking about the total?
The, just per quarter.
Well, it's 1080 for a 5/8 inch meter for water, and then, and seeing it's based on the size of your meter.
Oh, so
And
it's-
then the
yeah.
sewer is 1620, so it'd be 1720 and 1180, just on the 5/8 inch meter, which is mostly, I mean, that's your residential right
So
there.
proportionally, it's gonna be quite a bit off. I mean, if you add $1 to the smallest one, and then you also add $1 to the most expensive one, I mean, would it be better just to do a percentage on that? I mean, I don't know if that's just too difficult or what. I mean, you're gonna hit people with the smaller ones a lot harder than you're gonna hit the people with the taller ones.
But we don't have that many with the larger meters.
When you put your dollar on your ready to serve fees, you're talking $2 a quarter for the meters. So you're talking, what, $14 a year?
Okay.
So,
No,
and then
2 times 12 would be 24.
$24 a year. No, it's 4 times a year.
Oh, that's right.
That is true.
It's 4 times a year.
Quarterly
Yeah,
bills,
correct.
So you're looking at
2 times,
$8.
$8 a year,
Yeah.
that's gonna be raised on your water and sewer.
Right, but on the
Plus
higher
the
side,
other-
if we had a percentage, we could hit the higher side a little bit harder.
Well, that's what we're doing with the 2.5%, that's gonna be like $34 a year.
Okay.
So the 2.5% is based on your usage, so the more you use, the more you get dinged.
No, I get it.
And the two ready-to-serve fees he was talking about is one for water, one for sewer.
Yep.
Right.
That was the dollar each.
And there
If
was-
you want to apply a percent
Right.
for the bigger
So-
meter, that'd be fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, the rates were going up to 2.5%. I mean, in my mind, why don't we just do a percent on the other side too? But, I mean, if that's too difficult, that becomes accounting
It's not
nightmare, that's fine.
difficult.
I mean,
It's up to you guys, you wanna put more than that, you put more than that.
on the larger meters, you're saying.
Yeah,
You don't want
yeah.
to do just the dollar for everybody. The
No,
only
the
thing,
dollar gets paid
But I-
for everybody.
but what he was saying is on the larger meters, instead of doing a dollar, he wants a percentage. But we don't have that many large meters.
No, we have 5/8 and we.
no, it was just an idea. It's fine. It was just, I'm just, if we're doing rates percentage on one side, it just makes sense to do percentage on the other side
Yeah.
to me, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just the bulk, all of them are residential,
Yeah.
yeah. All right,
Well, again, so that's what you want me to adjust the revenue.
2.5 and a dollar.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I would say, $2.50.
And just so you are aware, that the ready-to-serve sewer and water get restricted then. They go into those restricted funds. It's not part of your operating fund balance. The only one that's part of your operating fund balance is at 2.5%.
But it'll build up our fund for
Correct.
emergencies.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
So we'll get some in each fund.
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it on another page here.
yeah, that makes sense.
We get to,
So, if we're done with talking about the rates, you can go to tab 5, which is the water and sewer fund. And you'll look here, the revenues, less the expenditures, you have $405,200. Now, in the water and sewer fund, it's an enterprise fund. So you know how your capital outlay was all in your different expenditure accounts. That is not how it works in the water and sewer fund. It's actually part of your balance sheet, which is your asset accounts, okay? So as a result, then, that $405,200 doesn't include that. And that's why you'll see where all of the other amounts are written here, of the drinking water, the vacuum truck, all of that, that principal payment and everything is all listed there with all the capital improvements, so that's $711,540, okay? But out of there, we're using restricted funds here, okay? And you deduct that from there, and you end up with an ending balance of 0. And then you'll see down below that, you'll see what the water monitoring funds are, the ready-to-serve water funds were as of June 30th, so that gives you the balances. So from those balances, unless, and if he's using some this year, but there's also stuff
Yes.
going in, that's not reflected here in the current fiscal year. That's why I'm using June 30th, 2022, because that was the audited number, which I had told you last night. That's the numbers I'm using, not the actual as of today. And that's based on the 2% increase for metered water and metered sewer revenue.
I mean, would it always go out to 0, or that's,
No, I just made it work that way.
okay, gotcha.
So, any questions on that, or we ready to go on to the revenues?
Yeah.
Okay, this is where I wanted to get on my little soapbox, because I'm a little concerned here. On the sewer contract, which is that 592-536-644, that thing scares me every year. Because we don't, it's the sewer contract with Cotterville, okay? It's based on your expenditures and your capital outlay that you're working on, you know, right now, times a percentage and stuff like that. Well, and then it's based on usage. I mean, it's a whole big formula. So one year, Cotcherville could owe us a lot of money. The next year, it goes the other way. There's no clear way of knowing how much to budget
In that,
in that category. I mean, I know when I left there, we were meeting with Cotcherville because at one point they got a huge bill and they wanted to meet and try to change that. It's a sewer contract. I strongly urge that something needs to be done with that to reevaluate how we calculate.
Well, yeah, because there was this big,
It's a budget nightmare for both communities.
we've been, we actually, Bob's supposed to be in communication with Conchville Township with, Curtis to go over this contract.
Okay, good.
it should have been done a long time ago.
Yes.
It didn't get done, and so now we're playing catch-up trying to fix it.
Yep.
Another one of those things.
So
yeah.
I'm just telling you, I
These
put
figures are scary.
140,000 in there, but I can't tell you if it's accurate or not, because it's a guessing game. It's like, you know,
Now-
so it makes me nervous. I'm just telling you that right now.
Is she doing a lot of the fixes on some of the leaks? I know they had that big issue down by Broadbridge Road,
They're, just lined all their storm, or sanitary sewers down there.
so hopefully,
Yeah, because their sewage, their, pump usage went down quite a bit. from
okay.
That system, even though that big rain, we took in over, 1.5 million gallons for a week. So they still do have a problem down there. They know about it and they're trying to find it.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't work too good, but we happen to know in Cotterville of one guy that when his yard floods, he has a manhole in front and he takes the manhole cover off, all the water goes in the, I said, why can't you catch it? You know he's doing it or weld it shut.
They put a bolted manhole cover on that one.
And they,
Yes, they have another issue, south of Station 5, down by Roberts Road. That's my understanding anyways. That's where they're getting a lot of infiltration down there.
you know, they're working down there right now.
Yep.
So, just so you understand, in the ready-to-serve fees here, the $147,000 that's shown here, that gets restricted, okay? The same with, I'm assuming, the capital improvement fee, stormwater as well?
Yes,
That's supposed to be restricted too. And see, that's a new one since I've been left. But Mike explained to me it was one of the, you know, the debt one that we were collecting instead of removing it, we moved it. So those two aren't part of your, let's say, normal everyday operations. These get put away for future and that's, so those two items aren't there. Where you're generating revenue from is your metered sales, generally, is the biggest thing. And then the sewer contract, which, I mean, just looking at it, you'll see, it was only 78,000 in 2021.
Yep.
Then it
Right.
jumps up to 158,
Right, doubles nearly.
you know,
yeah.
and it's just like,
That's been a nemesis for years.
and then the 22, 23, because we already know what the amount was, it jumps up to 188. So it's like, how do you figure out what you're supposed to be putting there? So, anyways,
Well, it's
I'll
revenues,
get off my
that's good.
soapbox now. I'm just telling you
Yeah.
how I'm concerned about it and stressing, and I'm glad seeing this move forward.
Right,
where they're
Exactly.
doing
When you
through
don't get it,
about
then, right, bad.
So, any questions on that? Okay, so then we'll go to the water department revenues, and it's the same thing here. There's the ready-to-serve fee for $97,000, the drinking water monitoring fee for $29,400, and the debt service collection. All of this stuff is
Restricted.
yeah. Is the debt service restricted though, Mike?
Yes, because it's paying the bonds.
Yeah, it's not really restricted, but it covers the
covers
cost
the-
of the bonds
yes.
that we're paying. Okay. I mean, just so you know, that bond will be paid off
Next
not
year.
too far in the future here.
Some
So
reason.
that would be like another money-making thing that you could put money away for the water, you know, restricted funds or something, not remove it from the water bill, just call it something else, to,
Like we did on the last one.
yeah. Is there any questions on that? Okay. Okay, so now general administrative, this would be like the portion of the city manager, the clerk, the treasurer's office. This is all part of that going there. I believe your salary is
I'm in
part of
here
this
too.
too. Because we don't split his like the DPW employees. Theirs is by job. His is just a percentage. So that's all in there. And then the part-time employee, the same thing, the way that's split there. All the benefits, again, are split accordingly. And this is where we would adjust the information that I gave you about the deputy clerk and clerk on there. We would adjust that amount possibly there once I review it, okay? On the insurance premiums and the insurance buyout.
Hey, Mike,
Yo.
just real quick, how much time do we have left on paying for the vacuum truck?
This year,
This year, and that's it?
that's
Okay.
it, we're done.
That, you'll see that later in here.
Yeah, next
Should-
page.
Yeah, principal payment right here, 32.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I thought. Okay, is there any questions on here? Now, you can see here, there's that property vehicle liability insurance. Remember how I was saying that there's gonna have to be an adjustment because, a journal entry because it got all charged to general fund, nothing charged here. So that's why I've got the amount written here of 21,250 as projected, based on what we've done, in the past. But we'll have to fix that, because then water and sewer fund will owe general that money because it was all paid out of general. Any questions? Also, this is where the, one thing I didn't mention is that defined benefit pension plan. That's that one where the actuary tells us the percentage. This is, would be the sewer portion of it, and then you'll see it on the water side too. Any questions? Okay, system maintenance sewer, this is, the vacuum truck was, this is where I have a lot of footnotes because they were making the expenditures, the bond payment, and also the capital outlay, they were putting it into the expense accounts and it can't be done there, it's supposed to be there. So I showed it as projected activity only because you need to know that that's what we're gonna be spending there, but this is not the correct account that it should be coming out of. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, then here's your wastewater treatment plant, which Mike wants to address on that.
Yes. So you all know the screw pump went down. Got a bid from Aqueduct, just screw pump only, $475,000. Got a bid from Lakeside to replace the screw pump. Screw pump from Lakeside is $508,000 plus $119,000 to remove the other one and replace it. I have a quote from Kennedy Industries to install 2 flight pumps with all the hard piping coming up. Electrical is estimated in there too for $460. So I think the way to go would be to do the $460. 2 reasons. It's cheaper. Second reason is I'll have 2 flight pumps in there. They'll do 2,940 gallons a minute per pump. So when we do the maintenance on pump number 2, screw pump number 2, I don't have to get a bypass system. I have 2 pumps down there that can handle everything. So that was that. Now, talking with Mary Ellen to fund this project, We can use 300,000 out of our ready-to-serve sewer. 160 out of the, ARPA funds, or use 160 out of the water sewer fund.
Which you would be digging into the fund
Right, you'd be
balance.
digging the fund balance.
I'd rather use the ARPA funds.
I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah.
It's a one-time, hopefully,
Yep,
Yep,
right?
we gotta spend it anyway.
yep. You
Kind of
know,
one of the things it's made for, designed to.
this
to
is
help and
something,
deal with.
yeah, this is what it's designed to do, help, do this part, the upper fund.
How's the health of the other pump?
That's why I got $175,000 in there to rebuild the bearings and
Okay,
the other pump for next year.
okay.
You go down there, listen to it, and it ain't happening.
But if it eventually, went, right, you'd want to replace the same thing with these much newer pair of pumps, right?
Well, we could spend $175,000 next year, replace the bearings and get this, pump up in good shape, the screw pump, and it should last another 20 years.
Okay,
Otherwise, we can go back and look at how much another flight pump, new control panels, and everything else would cost, but I'm thinking you'd be spending about $300,000 for that side.
okay,
And I think that the best for the value for the money right now is do this, the screw pump, put new bearings in, get it all cleaned up, and then, use it for backup.
okay. And the other one is totally irreparable.
The total, I don't know if you know what a screw pump looks like, it's 51 feet long, 4-foot diameter. Inside looks like a corkscrew, draws water up. What happened was, the whole corkscrew fell out. So when that fell out, tore up all the bearings and tore up everything. So that's what happened to that.
How old was that?
94.
That was when the
So,
plant was built.
Yeah, it's back when we redid the plant. Yeah, a lot of equipment down there is from 94. That we replaced a lot of equipment. A lot of equipment's still running fine, but, it's getting to that 30-year threshold that
Yeah.
we need to start looking at replacement.
Okay.
Pretty good run.
Yeah, we've had good luck with our equipment. We really have.
Better
What about the
not do
overall
it again.
building?
Yeah.
Keep knocking there.
The overall water plant building, I mean, I know I walked by there, there's like water leaking out and stuff. It seems like on the wall, there's like mold, black mold. It seems like water seeping through it.
That's common in your oxidation ditches and your contact chambers. Water seeps through the concrete.
I'm saying the wall of the water plant, the brick. Is the
You know,
building
in the
gonna be
back
okay?
where
Is
it
the
always
building gonna
kinda
fall
leaks.
apart?
Fine, I don't know why you haven't seen that one. You talking the circular tanks?
The nope, just the wall, the north brick wall always has water leaking out of it and it's like seeping down the brick. And you can see it like growing mold and stuff. I'm surprised you've never seen it. Yeah, the north wall.
No, we're back there all the time. We'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
Didn't notice that one.
So is there an adjustment I need to do on anything?
Right, that's the question.
Not at this point, I guess.
But we'll
Because
do
you
it
want
in
to, he wants to replace those this fiscal year,
Yeah.
correct?
That's
Yeah.
already in
Yeah.
there. That's already in there.
But
But this-
what about the ARPA funds? That has,
You're gonna have to put the ARPA funds in for that.
yeah.
So the,
What?
Because
which-
it's a 6 to 8, it's gonna be 8 to 10 weeks
Oh.
before we can get the pumps in.
So is it this fiscal year or next fiscal year?
You're gonna do it where the work is done, so it's gonna probably be next fiscal year.
So how much are we budgeting?
300 out of ready to serve sewer,
Okay, is that in addition to this?
175.
So
yes.
you need an additional 300,000
Yes.
coming out, and you want to use ready-to-serve sewer,
Yes.
right?
And then 160 out of the ARPA funds.
And then 160 out of the ARP. So the total project is 460.
60.
Yes.
Okay. So that will, so just so you know, that'll be a transfer into water and sewer
Right.
from general, because the
Yeah.
money's sitting
Now,
over there.
I did make a request for the bypass pumps down there for budget, for $36,000, and it should go till, June 30th. And then after June 30th, we may have to do another budget amendment for another month of $11,000 for the bypass pumping until They just put it.
That was for that pump you're
the pump-
leasing, right?
yes, yes.
That's the thing that's replacing the pump for now.
Yes,
Right.
the two pumps you see sitting down there right now, that's the bypass pumping.
Okay. Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay,
Enough bad news.
okay. So, is there any questions on the wastewater treatment plant? He primarily covered the major part of that.
I was wondering, you were talking about the screw pump, and it fell out?
Yeah,
Isn't that in a pipe?
no. You got a 42-inch diameter circle steel pipe,
Right,
and the screw is welded inside the pipe.
right.
The whole well's rotted out and
Okay, that's
came
what I
out.
wanna know, how that screw pump came out.
Yeah.
How it was welded.
Yeah, well, you know, sewage is very
Is
corrosive.
there, on the maintenance, is there a way to check them, or,
No,
because they're so deep down in there, you
there,
can't
there,
get down in
you
there?
can't, it's like a corkscrew, you can only
Unless you
see,
use a
you can only see a
camera.
couple feet down inside.
Okay.
Do the flight pumps operate in such a way that you could maybe check?
Oh, yeah, flight pumps are submersible pumps.
Oh,
They'll be sitting down in the bottom of the pit, and their ductile iron goes up, pumps it in. So you can
Okay.
see the whole thing.
okay. Well, difficult to see the pump, because it's in,
No, the pumps actually be sticking out of the water,
okay.
okay?
Closer to your non-submersible sump pump type of thing?
Yeah, the pump
Okay.
with, they're submersibles, but most of the time when the pumps are in, they're only halfway underwater,
Okay,
you know? So,
You know, let's talk about the water plant, not the sewer plant, right? Just want to make sure.
this is sewer plant.
No, before, that comment I made about the water leaking
Yeah.
out the side of the
No,
water
this
plant.
is sewer plant.
Okay, I'm just making sure you knew what I was talking
Yeah,
about.
we're
Okay,
talking sewer plant down the river road.
but I was talking about the water.
talking about
Oh,
the water
plant.
Yes.
Okay.
The water plant is that building okay?
Yeah, the building's fine.
Okay.
I'll take a look, it might be a gutter stuck open or plugged off.
It's like coming right out of the wall.
Okay.
What's happened before?
Yeah, it's probably got a crack in one of the basins, that's all.
It's not sealed.
What's that?
If the brick is porous, it's like a sponge, if it's
Yeah,
not sealed.
you know, we got that tank in there, sometimes we get little hairline cracks in there, we gotta get down there and, seal them off.
Okay, next is your pump and lift stations for the sewer. I mean, you can see there's not much change between the current budget year as far as the amended budget and what the recommended budget is. Okay,
Now, the SCADA program that we're gonna be placing down there at the Belver Pump Station, that has not been replaced since '94. I'm sorry, '98, someplace in there. Right now, we have no communication between the Belver Pump Station and the sewer plant. So putting the SCADA in there, we're gonna be able to communicate with the Belver Pump Station, they can see what's going on. And with this also, we'll be able to see from our phones what's happening at the Bell River Pump Station. We won't be able to operate it, just be able to look at it. We have to watch it.
Are you planning on doing that upgrade this coming fiscal year then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I have, sorry.
okay.
so we need to put something in here or no?
Yeah, it's on the back page.
And the back
Oh,
page.
okay.
And that would be part of, unfortunately, if you were to look, you would see it in that recap where I'm picking up each of the different items from the capital outlay. They're being reflected there, okay? They won't be on the front of that page. It's right behind tab number 5, the 60,000.
Got it.
You see where I'm talking?
Okay, so reflected, and that still zeroes out, it's good, but, okay.
Okay. Okay, so now we're on the general administrative for the water. Again, it's usually generally the same, whatever you do the one place, you do over here as well. In the sewer, general administration, the water, you know, it just depends on the split, you know, percentages and stuff. So any questions on this? Okay. The system maintenance for water, this would be all your water mains and so forth, you know, like when, and you always, even though you made, I mean, at prior years, boy, you spent more than what we budgeted. It was 54 in 2021 and 45 in 21-22, but he's projecting 34. I mean, as of the end of January, we only had spent 10,000 for other repairs and maintenance, so he's projecting 34, and that's generally usually what you always budgeted from me that I remember in the past
Oh, you're talking
on water system
the other
maintenance.
system maintenance, yeah.
Yes,
Other
The reason
repairs
why
and
that's
maintenance,
lower because we've
934.
had less of those words I'm not gonna say,
yes.
okay?
And that's what I'm saying, but you have to budget for the
Right.
worst-case scenario. Unfortunately, we had 2 years where it was a lot worse
Yes.
prior to that, so it's nice to see in 1 year maybe, hopefully, less. So any questions? Okay, then we're at the water plant, and I'll let Mike address this, because again, it's, the only thing I will address is that we do have the water plant. Remember how I was telling you just recently that the bonds would be paid off in the near future? It would be paid off in 2026. So, I mean, so you don't have too many more years and that bond's gonna be paid off. Not to say that we maybe would have to bond again for something else,
You're right.
but at least that one will be paid off. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Could we make up for it in rate? I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you could go about it.
Well, part of the rates is that debt service that we're collecting, that debt service.
Oh,
fee
okay.
Goes towards that.
Do you guys got any questions on the capital expenditures on the back side of this? Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, that gets us through the water and sewer fund. Okay, so then behind tab 6 is just a few of the little miscellaneous smaller funds. The first one is, no, I don't even know what that one is. What's 102?
The 218?
This is the Guy Center. Guy
Okay,
funds.
sorry. I mean,
Guy
this is
restricted
new to
funds.
me, and it's like, okay, what is this? Thank
Yeah.
you. Because I even questioned why we had to have a separate one for it, and then I was told that. So that's from your proceeds on there. So, and so obviously, we don't have anything budgeted for any future, so. Okay, so now we'll get to the cemetery. And remember, general fund subsidizes the cemetery, so there is a transfer in here. So that's why you always see a 0 here. You'll always see a 0. That doesn't mean that's where you're gonna end up, but that's why, because your revenue and expenditures equal, okay? And the general fund is going to be transferring in for the $25,110 in this proposed budget. Now, based on what the expenditures are that Mike was projecting and I was projecting for the cemetery, with the revenues, they had budgeted 25,000, but I'm projecting we may only need $15,395. We don't have to put more in there. I mean, just because it says 25, that's not what we should transfer. We should only transfer what we need. That way it would save more of the money. And I think what they were doing in the past, they were transferring whatever was budgeted there. Is that
Right.
correct?
That was correct. We've been,
And you didn't necessarily need to do that. So then you're taking money from general fund and giving it to the
Right.
cemetery and building up their fund balance, which you don't need to.
Right.
So,
So does the cemetery cost us money, or, I mean?
yes,
Yes.
that's why it gets subsidized.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I mean, how many cities own a cemetery?
quite a few of them, actually.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think St. Clair's got one.
Few of
It's
them?
by the railroad tracks.
Yep,
Seems very odd to me.
yeah, a lot of times.
Yep.
I know there's been corporations buying up cemeteries too.
Well, we can't sell ours.
No?
No. We're under perpetual care, and so we can't sell ours.
Nothing you can do.
Which you'll see later on, we have monies that have been set aside when you no longer have when the cemetery's full,
Right.
there's money set aside to cover the expenses. I mean, you're looking along, I mean, I know I won't be around when,
I won't be around. I got two
whenever that
sections-
comes to that, but,
I got two
you know,
sections filled up since I've been here, and that's all I wanna see.
so. And you can see there what the revenue is generated from. Again, it's a guessing game, obviously, so. I'm always conservative on the revenue side, so. Okay, and then here's the expenditures, and this primarily, you know, would be, for the burials and the upkeep of there, and, the part-time employees would be, the, lawn crew, and I think Michaela, part of her wage
Yes.
goes here as well. So-
Did we get the chapel and that all fixed?
Yes, the back door has been, replaced and repainted. Front door's been new hardware, repainted.
The roof?
The roof, we repaired what was damaged up there. We really couldn't put money into the cemetery this year because of the deficit we're having. So next year I would, consider putting a metal roof on the chapel also. And then
But
maybe.
we didn't budget it in here.
No, no,
okay.
so that next year, the following year.
24, 25,
24, yes.
okay.
I would suggest doing that, putting metal roof on that.
So, any questions? Okay. Now, this is a drug law enforcement fund, and this is for the PD, you know. It's just, you generate revenue is coming from your drug forfeiture funds,
Could be 30 seconds.
and then your drug enforcement would be your expenditures. I mean, unless you want Jim to explain it to you, I mean, it's pretty straightforward
Yeah,
here.
real quick, we haven't captured any type of forfeiture monies for years because the laws have changed. It's not as easy to forfeit items and monies and stuff, so the revenue that's projected there, 500, probably won't happen. The 625 expenditures, I think Mary Ellen's put in as a guess. We use that fund to buy something over and above things that we haven't, budgeted for normally. Like next year, and I know we didn't put it in here, completely slipped my mind, but there's a new non-lethal tool that's out there called a bolo wrap. I wanna buy one of those, about $1,500, but I would take that out of the drug forfeiture fund, so money's already sitting there, it's a restricted account, I can only use it for police department related items, so that's what that fund is.
Like a taser that hugs you? What is it?
It's, the bolo wrap is, it's not a taser, it will, like, literally somebody who's verbally, or who's non-compliant, like I'm holding a knife,
Okay.
but I'm not aggressive, we can, their arms come down the side and shoot it, it's like a bat cable. Think of a.
Right,
bat-
and it-
It will wrap around them
Yeah.
and literally restrict them, so they can't move, so we can come in now and take somebody to the ground and not have to take, more extreme measures.
A cable hug, yeah.
Yes, but I've been shot with it before, I have the video of it, and it's a pretty interesting system.
So did you want this changed, or
You don't need it,
leave it alone?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And any
It's a
questions?
future budget amendment for the taser
Okay.
hug device.
All right.
Okay, now,
Hugger.
the brownfield is another
Hugger.
thing I'm a little nervous about.
Yes, let's get into that.
Because the revenue, okay, I was involved when we were doing the brownfield. My understanding is, okay, we collected the money here, we sent it to the county, then the county would give us back any monies that we needed for the loan, okay? But there were still some outstanding bills that they were supposed to keep that money for. But they keep sending us more than what our bond money is, bond payments are. So I don't.
But we got two brownfields. Does this only cover the one brownfield?
Where's the other brown?
The Geck building. There's a brownfield on that now.
I wasn't aware of that. So do we have a loan payment on that, or what,
No,
No,
That was a,
that one was by the county.
well, it was,
The
it
hotel was
was,
by us, we had to
Yeah.
guarantee that one. And the county guaranteed.
the county gave
so
them
we
the other
don't,
one.
so it's nothing to do with this?
Well, I don't know, you're still gonna collect something for the building, and,
Yeah, I mean, I'm, that was after me, so I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
don't know. So, I mean, I even talked to Curtis about this, because I said, why are we getting more money than what we should? And he did have a meeting with them, but he said he didn't get anywhere with them, you know.
yeah, you don't want them coming down the road.
Yeah. Realize later on and then.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough on this, other than I know that they also had told us that yes, you are collecting more than what your bond is, but they use that, they keep it up there to use for other people, other communities to use for
Yeah.
brownfield.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we're getting all this money. I mean, we're not gonna spend it, but,
Yeah.
and so I didn't know how to budget for the revenue, because they keep sending us that 44,000, so I put it in there. Now, so I'm just telling you
Yeah,
that
when-
this may
yeah.
not be accurate.
Isn't the revenue based on the assessed value? And the assessed value is greater than what it was when we started?
But this isn't the city's money to keep. I mean,
Yeah, no,
it's
it
not
goes
the
to pay
city's
off
money
the
to keep.
brownfield.
Yeah, it's not for us to keep, so I don't know why we're getting it.
It's
But if
supposed-
the brownfield gets paid off early, then we get the full tax revenue at some point.
Yeah, but we're not there yet. It was quite a few years, and we're nowhere near that yet.
12 to 13, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a whole
it's been
separate
little
loan?
difficult Trying to communicate with the county.
Like, remember they had to come back, like it was, ended up being dirtier than they thought it was gonna be?
Well, there was more to it, yeah, but still, you're still paying on it. I mean, you collect it and then it goes to pay off that money.
Yeah.
You're still collecting.
It's been
There
too
was-
long since I've been.
So you get 50, you do get 50%. Each taxing jurisdiction gets 50% and 50% goes up. Isn't it 50, 50?
Can't, honestly.
Okay,
You
I
know,
think that's what. it
back when
is.
we did it, there was a whole chart in there.
Yes, there was. But remember, I mean, I remember is that we actually had, they underestimated what the revenue was gonna be.
Yeah.
And I tried to get money so we could pay on that bond, that loan earlier. We could have, but I could never get the money, and I finally gave up. I kept contacting and said, hey, listen, you've got all that money that I sent you, send it back so we can make an early bond loan payment,
Yeah.
and I never got it. I mean, there was nothing I could
Yeah,
do
so
about it.
you're right, that is scary.
Yeah, so I'm just telling you, I'm nervous about this also. I don't know what to tell you other than that, okay? Okay, capital projects fund, this will change, because remember, this is the money that's gonna be coming in for the future of the truck. So this will be something that'll be changed when you get your book. Because the truck's 2 years out, is coming from general, the street, and the water and sewer, so the revenue is not gonna be zero. However, once it comes in there, then it's gonna be restricted, but you still show it as revenue coming in there. And then the year that you buy the truck, it'll be shown as an expenditure coming out of there. So really, the only expenditures out of here is the service charges that we get, and that's through the bank, bank service charges. Okay, this is cemetery trust fund. This is where I was talking to you about, where when no longer is this cemetery generating revenue, then you use this money here that's in the, cemetery trust. And there's two of them in there. There's a Guy Mausoleum, and then there's the perpetual care, which the perpetual care is what's used for, the, upkeep of the cemetery. Okay, and then that's it.
Okay. Can we go back on a few things?
Yes.
So, one thing is your automatic door. So I did some checking out there, and I know we did this over at the fire department, but there's a commercial heavy-duty grade one where you don't have to change your doors. This should work for 99% of current commercial doors, and they have them on sale from $4,000 to $2,000 right now.
For these out here?
Yeah. And I found a couple other ones, but this was the one that has all the compliance. It's compatible with 99% of all commercial door applications. So I thought maybe we could take a look at that.
Definitely. That's cheaper than,
I think our only problem with that one, Mike, is you're gonna need to get
Yeah, I got,
Well, still, even if you did those and you added some for the installation and that, you're still a lot cheaper than,
20.
you know, that's all I'm looking for is another.
no, I'll definitely take a look at this.
So we could probably reduce those funds and then
That's the hope.
Yeah.
That's the hope, that
But that
this,
was in the projected, so at this point, I.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
wouldn't
say, wasn't it just a ballpark guess on your behalf?
project it.
correct, but I'm just saying, if we can
Yeah,
find something and
sure.
this works, that's one thing, okay?
Well, no, I was just saying we wouldn't have to change really anything in the book for the projected.
No, but hopefully that saves us some money.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, we'll take a look at this and,
Yeah, and there's others out there, and I know Joe replaced the one on the fire department, and now eventually he's gonna have to replace the doors because they're just rotting. But these are new, and I was hoping that with this, because it handles a commercial heavy door with glass, that maybe these will be more conducive to what, you know, and then we can save the door.
yeah, no, definitely.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to go over, we didn't talk about the fee schedule.
Right. But did you get them the fee schedule?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I got the fee schedule also, and I'm still waiting on, meter
Which
quotes.
is, this is your response.
Yeah, I'm not so worried about your meters.
Okay.
Might have to find
Cemetery,
it,
we're
Brian.
not doing nothing with.
Yeah, schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is more for,
Take notes on it, that's what I did on mine, that's why I had all my,
Yeah.
if I can find them here. There's just some stuff in here like, the garage sale violation, $75. It's like, oh my God, you know, we give out a free thing and, okay, so on page 10 is the vacant building one. Part of it's there. Some of these violations, oh, where's my other spot here? Hang on.
That's what I told him. I said, that was him, not me.
Permits,
You know what, I might have one
rental
over.
property, the cemetery license. Oh, the business license, page 8.
Where are you guys looking at?
wait, yeah, where is
What are you
this?
guys looking at?
It was that separate
Fee
email
schedule, he sent it out separate, sorry.
with the agendas for whatever.
Yeah. So this is the
Let's
fee
put it in the
schedule
middle,
that,
we can- I'll show
where
you.
everything is.
Where are we at? Page 8.
Page
So
8.
page 8, this is where we have the business licenses. And remember how we were talking about that? And,
Yeah.
and Bob says, well, now's your time if you want to change it for the next thing. So the initial business license here, they've got $200. $100 goes to clerk, 50 guys goes to the building, and 45 payable to fire authority, which, so anyway, it's $200 and then a 75 annual fee. And again, other communities are not charging this type of fee. They're charging roughly $40 for a business license, and they charge the same thing every year. I think Algonac went, they had a 2-year for a while for $60, and I think St. Clair just, I don't know if Algonac went up a little bit and St. Clair went down, I don't know. All I'm saying is we're way out of the ballpark on these business license fees, so I thought I'd bring it up for this one.
Isn't the one for the fire, that check gets issued to the fire authority, isn't it? Isn't that, I mean, that was the way it was when I left there. You had
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
checks. You had the one that the city kept, and then the other one they would make out to the
Yeah.
fire authority.
Yeah, they still do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, I don't know, I mean, I still think we're so high compared to all the other communities for these business licenses. And especially for an initial. Like I said, most of them just charge you a fee of $40 to $60, and that's it per year, period.
Well, remember, ours used to be kind of low.
Well, first it was free, and then it went to 25, and then it went to 50, and then it started jumping even higher.
Yep.
And here's the other question for you. It got moved, normally we used to collect this at for the budget year. It got moved midterm in the budget year.
In the actual calendar year instead of the fiscal year.
It gets done in December. Isn't it easier for you to do it when you're doing
Should be.
the budget? So anyway, these two things, the business licenses I'm looking at, and then
Vacant.
on page 10 is the vacant building one at the bottom, where we're charging the $75 fee for the building, and then a monthly fee of $75, and then it jumps to $150 and $200 and $250. I mean,
But those fees are currently in the ordinance. I think to do that, you have to
Correct.
change your
But
ordinance.
again, we're looking at both of these things to eventually,
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I mean, because
yeah,
how we do it on our end is the way the ordinance is written.
correct,
If we deal with somebody for a loose dog, we give them a $75 ticket.
yeah.
If we deal with them 3 days later, knowing they have a loose dog ticket from 3 days ago, we jump that to $250, and then the third subsequent violation is $500. It's like,
Yeah,
I hate doing it, so
yeah. I think a lot of these fees, I'm just bringing these two up because we recently discussed them. There's a lot of fees in here that really need to be looked at to see how we are compared to other communities is all I'm bringing up, because some of these violations are, you know, like I said, for a garage sale, we give out a free garage sale permit, but if you didn't get one, now we're gonna hit you with a $75 fine.
yeah, but in
And I understand it's to keep people from continually doing it.
I'm
But,
gonna put this on camera, Commissioner Bryson, but we haven't written a ticket
I
in the
know.
25 years I've been here.
I know.
so.
I was
So,
gonna say, that's something new, that wasn't always on there.
well, there's a lot of fees on here that are just kind of way out of whack, and I think it's time we start looking at them. So I guess the biggest one we said we would look at is lease the business fee. The other one, we have to what, December on the vacant building?
The
Before we can
sunset
look at
clause,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll have to bring it up, so.
We're both in the same vicinity. One was October and the other was December, if I recall.
Yeah, I think they're-
But he said, on as far as the business license, he said we could take care of that one with the budget at this point.
Yeah.
Any of these we could take care of with the budget at this point, depending on.
We can or we can't, because
Well,
we have to
'cause-
follow the ordinance, or don't we? The vacant building one?
These are changing the amount now, but it goes into effect when they
July
start
1st.
renewing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If you change the fees now, July 1st to take effect when the budget hits.
correct, yeah, I
And then it
know,
would run out then October, December subsequent, whatever.
yeah. So I don't know, I'm just bringing it up, that there's a lot of fees on here that we need to address eventually, because they're really scary. Even some of the stuff for working on people's houses, they've gone so high. I've heard so many complaints, like somebody wanted to do their porch and they got hit with a, you know, almost $300 for a small porch to do some minor work on it, and some of our stuff, I don't know. Bill, do you get any fee schedules like this out of any of your other communities?
Yeah, I'll get,
Can you pull us a couple just so we can compare them? And I just think we got to look at some of these. So that's the only reason why I'm bringing it.
Maybe, excuse me, maybe the thing to do, this would maybe be a tasking we could provide to the new city manager whenever they get in is, you know, within 3 months,
Yep.
review the fee schedule and then, you know, come up with a list of recommendations. I mean, I agree, it needs to be looked at again.
Yeah, I think especially some of these business licenses, it's gonna discourage some of the smaller businesses from starting up because they're looking at these fees, and it's quite a bit.
But
'Cause I know-
I'd hate to fiddle with it until
Right,
get the new city manager in there, they get
Correct.
their feet
to
wet a
look
little
at it,
bit.
that's
Yeah.
a good,
So the only thing I'm saying is we definitely have to look at it.
yeah.
Please get on the radar, so.
Yep.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that it would be any changes done like we normally did during the budget hearing. They'd also have the fee schedule on there as well. So you're saying put it off and it can be a later date.
Yes.
And then you can make it effective any date.
Yeah, I mean, we
Doesn't have to
can
be
change it at any
July
time.
1st.
Correct.
Right, but they should compare them and everything, so we know we're in line with other communities, yeah.
I know that's how we did it in the past.
I mean, like this one thing, I brought this up last year for this electronic tax roll, $1,500. I mean,
I thought that's ridiculous. You know what? Do you want to know how long it takes you? 2 seconds.
I know,
to sit
and I
there
brought
and
this
do
up
that.
last year, and I was told, well, other communities do it, and I thought, bullshit, $1,500, $1,500.
When I was here, I charged $100, and then everybody else was charging more, and I said, I can't justify charging more than that.
Yeah, that's too.
Thanks, Paul.
They're gonna delay.
But yes,
Isn't
It
it?
shows 100 in there,
I know, but
20, and then they cross out, put the
Yeah.
15 and 20. Yep.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
it's
And the
crazy.
That is.
and that was put in last year.
No.
Yeah, it is insane, and that's what I'm talking about. This
And you
stuff.
know how easy it is. I mean, it's like we're charging $1,500 for a 2-second thing that you're doing.
Bingo. So that's why there's,
About that, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
yeah. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get pushed off my chair.
Didn't that one time we, our business license was a large figure when they went in and got their, but it was forever?
Well, when
was a
they first
one-time
did that
fee.
initial business license, it was based on, because we didn't collect taxes for the first year, because, you know, generally they came in, you didn't collect personal property taxes, so they used to base it on what they used to operate their business. You know, it was based on a percentage of that, and then they changed it, and
Yeah.
changed it to a flat fee
And
instead of trying to
you
come
got
up with
people
that.
that are here, not a whole lot of them, but that are still here that had businesses back when they, and now, and it was set for a lifetime, one-time deal, and now they have to pay again.
Because that was why it was the initial business license, yeah, exactly.
They're not happy.
Because then they said after that, they were getting the revenue through the personal property tax. But then they also have that personal property tax where you don't have to pay up to a certain assessment value that they
Yeah.
do too. So then you're losing on that.
So, anyway, that's it. That's all I got.
One other thing to add, you know, because Mike brought up ARPA funds.
Oh, yes.
We got talking about the patrol car last night. I called around to some dealerships today. Did anybody get back to us about the interceptors?
Not while I was there, no.
So I called my equipment guy first, and he said the Ford Interceptors, what we currently have, prices have jumped significantly to about $10,000. So we're like, well, if we're gonna be paying 45-ish thousand for them, let's see what a Tahoe and maybe a Durango costs. So a Durango is about 43,000-ish. A Tahoe is somewhere between 40 and 45,000-ish. Not hard numbers, but rough quote.
Oh, yeah.
The Durango, we'll have to wait till at least September to get. We kind of ran into a jackpot. Berger Chevrolet on the west side of the state actually have 2 Tahoes on the lot, dark gray, ready for pickup if anybody wants them. So that we figured 45,000 for each vehicle, which would bring that up to 90. And then to outfit each, I called my equipment guy, said if we get the Tahoe, can we transfer some of the lights over? Yes, you can. Somewhere in the ballpark between 12 to 15,000 per vehicle to transfer all the equipment over.
Okay.
So 90 plus 30 is about 120,000 for 2 vehicles and all the equipment.
So, Jim, here's a question.
That's more than.
If,
Yeah, we doubled it because Lisa had mentioned getting a second car.
Yeah, but no,
Yes.
you said 120 for two.
I was wrong on that.
I know, I was gonna say, you only had 47 here.
Why are you yelling at me again? I have the feeling. Yes.
Get the ruler.
if, you know, 2-3 months from now, we decide we want to do the lease program instead of buying, and we buy right now, or are we just going to turn around and resell the things, or?
No, if we go down this path to purchase them now, we probably wouldn't lease anything for 3 years.
Okay,
So this is like a one-time, and if the money's there and there's no other projects and you guys are willing to give me funds to get 2 vehicles.
yep.
I'll get the 2 vehicles.
And are you gonna keep the 2 old ones?
So the 2 old ones, I will take one of the old ones, and I was gonna give the other one to the DPW because they have that 2003
Oh,
Great
yeah,
Expedition. That can probably be rotated out. So one of those things in the past we've done.
You go to
I
the
mean-
Marine City Museum at this point.
I remember
Yeah.
Elizabeth driving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was purchased to the.
Got a little exhausting,
Yeah,
just a little.
It's got a little flirt.
Jim, all those, they're ready out to sell, are they ready to sell? I mean, they can get them out too, if they got all the chips in.
yes, they're fully equipped.
I mean,
Okay,
there's
so wait a
a
minute.
lot of vehicles still,
Yes.
Chevys, Dodges and stuff, and my brother-in-law still doesn't have his chips for his stuff.
Yeah, no, they were fully equipped, they're 4-wheel drive. We don't chase anyway, we have no chase policy. I would, brought you back the fees and the figures that I obtained tonight, so, or earlier today.
Do we know roughly what it is to lease?
have no idea.
No idea.
That's all dependent on how many vehicles we need, et cetera.
Okay, so looking at the ARPA funds, we got the 426, and we're still debatable on the 20,000 with the doors. And then, so we'll look at that, and then
We were
instead of using,
160 and
well, instead of using the 47 he's got in there, you're talking the 120.
20, yeah,
So that puts you down to 286 you still got.
yep. And then where you're gonna use 130.
Yeah,
I mean, 160, excuse me, for the water and sewer fund.
minus 160, so that still gives us 126 at the end of
Yeah,
that.
I think we have those ARPA funds, we do need to spend them. If
Yep.
that gets your department whole and gets you where you need to be, I think we should do it.
So with that
Plus-
being said then, because ARPA funds don't need to go into next year's budget, are you guys okay with me presenting to you a full presentation then at the next meeting to go and just get these May 4th?
Yeah, you don't want to wait too long.
No.
You wanna make-
Yeah.
They'll be
He's got-
gone off
he's
the
got-
lot and
He's got.
sooner than later.
Yep,
Yeah.
So we just do a budget amendment, pull it out of the
yep.
one account, and then just throw it right in.
Yeah.
And then, so then we wouldn't have any $47,000.
Correct.
in here then.
Agreed, then you
Yep.
take it 47 out of the capital
Yeah.
expenditure for next year.
And then we still got 126 that we can fool with or put into road or whatever.
How much? 126?
126.
Sure, that's right.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of his,
You
your
gotta factor in the
160,
40.
your 120,
And
We
add
got
back in
the 20,
47.
yeah, so,
120 right now is just a rough estimate for me. It
Okay.
could give or take a few thousand in there.
so we're doing Jim's 120, we got Mike's your 160, and we got the 20 with the door, which that might change. Okay, I'm taking
Yeah,
all
'cause
that
That could
out.
make the difference for your car.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna need the full 126, but I mean, if I'm $3,000 off. for
I mean, I'm
something,
just-
It helps.
The balance on the front says 360.
No, take out the, okay, take
Maybe
out
I
the
missed-
minus 47, get rid of
Yeah,
that.
because we're
Yeah,
not gonna be
that's-
using
that was
that.
the
part.
vehicle.
Oh, so you add the 47
That's
back
changed
here.
into
Yeah.
120,
Okay,
So
that's
out
what
of
I was
the
missing
406,
on. Okay.
and then if you,
So, yeah, 47 back,
126,
okay.
yeah.
Because, yeah, I had 80.
We're just
And you said
roughing
like
it
with the
up.
lights in that, in the back, the cage, whatever you're calling it, is that included in that?
It's a partition. It will be covered in the 12 to 15 from the equipment guide. That will include, and I actually have pictures of a patrol
Okay.
car from the city of Taylor, and it's a dark gray with the blue lights. It's a sharp-looking vehicle. It's got the push bumper on it. It's got the partition in between the driver's seat and the rear passenger, another partition behind that, and then storage area in the back.
We'll cover all your
Okay.
decals.
Decals are roughly under $1,000.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna get them all, it's ghosted.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, that truck looks awesome.
Yeah, we might as well, we gotta do it, and then, like I said, that gets us down to about 100 and some thousand, and we'll figure out what to do with that yet. At least we're spending it finally instead of losing it.
So these will last us for 3 years, you said?
It depends, I mean, these brand-new Tahoes might last 5. I mean, but if we decide the new city manager wants to come in and sit down and say, hey, I want a lease, well, we'll talk about it in 3 years. You know, then we can lease vehicles, you know.
Because
have
he's
them
got a
sell
thing,
those.
you've got a plan on your mileage, and that's something maybe you can get a hold of.
Yes.
He's got a plan on what the mileage is and when they replace and all that, he put that together, so you might wanna look at that, and that'll tell you.
Okay, I mean, I'm just, if it was 3 years, we're talking 20,000 a year, how much is a lease?
Well, it goes by mileage and some other things,
Okay.
How much money are we spending for repair?
Yeah.
It's a point-based system.
yeah.
And then if we
Yeah,
own
you
them,
say
then we
that-
can sell them or auction.
The other
Yeah.
Tahoe, we had rusted out real fast.
The '09 Tahoe did not rust out very fast. It got to a point,
You're on
2019,
you're on roads
4 or
a lot
5
of
years.
salt, You're getting them undercoated or something.
I have never had them undercoated. No, this was more right on the door frame where it was rusting, it was never underneath. Yeah.
Well, I think that's the way to go. Okay, so now
so
you still,
I wanna go over and make sure I know what I'm doing.
yeah, because you still need a motion too for all
Yes,
this changes.
But what I want to understand is we're taking the 47,000 out and we're not putting anything in. It's just being taken out, correct? Because you're doing it in this current year that we're in right now, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so, but that's gonna change then the 120,000, for the current year, we have city office doors at 20.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to change that or just keep it at 20?
Well, keep it at 20 and let him look into
Okay,
it, and if it
then I'll show
changes,
120 for his vehicles there.
because
to
we're
bring it
thinking
down.
maybe 10 if we can get away with this.
Yeah, current
Yeah.
fiscal.
And then
Yeah.
if he needs more,
Okay,
then
so that
It's
takes
there.
care of that
Give
end
or
of
take,
it.
yes, ma'am.
Then,
Yeah.
the rate increase is 2.5%, ready to serve is $1 per
Each.
meter for water and for sewer, okay? And then we're budgeting 300,000 and using ready to serve sewer and 160,000 for ARPA funds, and that's at the wastewater treatment plant for those screw pumps, right? Is that what they're called? Okay. And that was it, right? That's, I mean, well, that's not, I didn't mean by that, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
it is.
So, okay. And then when you make your motion, just say the adjustment, adjustments from last night and tonight's meeting.
All right.
Okay, who wants to make the motion?
Can I get a motion?
Come on, Brian.
Sure.
You're the motion king.
This is right here.
Mr. Motion. Yeah, I make a motion that we adopt the 8 changes from last night that were actually presented this morning, or this evening, as well as the other items discussed
At the meeting today.
at the meeting today.
Support.
Okay, motion and a support. Any further discussion? Get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Bryson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick?
Yep.
Commissioner Hillfrank?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Roerig?
Yes.
Commissioner Ross?
Yes.
Mayor Vandembosch?
Yes.
Motion carried.
So before we quit, I just want to thank all you guys. I mean, I know this has been tough. Thank you, Mary Ellen, for coming in here, and doing all this stuff. I know you still don't feel comfortable with this because we have a long ways to go to get our books back in check. I thank you guys. I know, Nicole, you're working hard on all this stuff. Jim, thanks you for taking on this mess and you keeping it going. I mean, all you, and Jason too. I mean, all of you guys are just doing a great job keeping all this going for what we got to still clean up here. So hopefully we'll get there.
But on the
Absolutely.
opposite side of that, we thank you guys. We got talking about it today, that this was one of the best budget workshops we have ever had.
Wow.
The laughter, the joking, the camaraderie, the teamwork is by far anything I think any of us have experienced in the years we've been doing this.
Yeah.
So we thank you guys for your support as well.
And this is the first time
This is my last one.
We wanted to make it
Go out
enjoyable.
with a bang, right?
And
Next
this
year
is
it'll
the
be
first
terrible.
time I wasn't shaking. I mean, as for as many years as I did this, that's what I was telling them. I'd be sitting over here shaking. I'd have to put my hands underneath because I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And I don't, it may be because I'm retired now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't like it?
Doesn't get too beep.
You just gotta quit moving your foot.
Oh, yeah, that'll never stop, Bill.
Well, we had one city manager. I won't mention his name, but
Oh, I
remember,
know.
Oh,
pulled the socks up whenever he got.
that's when you knew you had them.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, it's been.
On the rails.
This has been a good one because I'll tell you, and I've been through a lot with you also. So, yeah.
And where it truly does start is communication.
Yep.
Everybody communicated. When you guys had questions, you asked. And if we didn't know the answer, we got you the answer. And it all come out these last 2 nights. So
Yeah.
this was an awesome, tiring experience.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but it's good.
yes.
And
And again, thank all of you guys.
And it's a lot of good
Appreciate
information
for everything you guys have done.
yeah, with explanations. Yeah.
Yes.
because you got new people and they're trying to figure out some of the stuff. I mean, it's not easy to do these
I
budgets.
hope you guys kind of were able to catch on, because I'm not being here next year.
You can come in the audience and be a participant.
Yeah.
Well, it's all on
You and Mike
tape,
can heckle
so-
us in the audience. And
I'll sell popcorn back here.
there you go.
There's some left.
All right, you want a
All
motion?
right. Yeah, could I get a
I'll
motion
make
to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All right. And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.